1805. Our bylaws state the secretary is to determine if a quorum is present. Says do.
Karen's here.
Okay, I'll do a roll call. Director Harshman,
Yes.
Director Santa Steven,
Here.
Director Klein,
Yep.
and I see Julie, but I see both. And I'm present also. Yes, Madam President, we do have a quorum.
Awesome. Let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. Thanks for removing your hats. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
United States of America.
To the republic for which it stands,
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There's a time delay between her and Alabama.
I would like to remind everyone that this is a space to support each other as we make decisions in the best interest of our community and our firefighters. Public comments are always welcome and appreciated. The public comment period will be at the end of the meeting. The draft agenda was shared through Google Docs, allowing editing and revisions by all board members. The bylaws do not state that the board needs to vote to accept the agenda. The bylaws state the order of business as follows. So Appendix A is the one that's not stapled, and I apologize for that. The bylaws state the minutes are to be read. We have varying interpretations of what that means. If Stu is to read them, or if we are to read them ourselves.
Did you turn Stu back up?
Stu, you still there?
He's very small now.
I think that's the room instead, so.
I have him on.
Do you want me to read the minutes?
Do we?
Certainly.
How do you interpret read? As in to be read aloud or let people read on their own?
Well, I look at it both ways. I assumed it was a chance for us, for the people there, the board, to take a pause and read the minutes. That's how I always thought it was. Until, Julie brought up the reading of the minutes, I went, yeah, it could be interpreted verbally too. So, whichever you want. It'll take a little while for me to read it. I do have them. That's not a problem.
Any thoughts, board?
I think everybody here can read.
Yeah, let's just read them and correlate after. How about that? Read them to ourselves.
Read to yourselves?
Yes.
Anybody against, opposed to that? I guess they're reading, so no.
I guess I need to add another E to look to Casey's name on my phone. Sorry, I spelled it wrong.
You're not good. Casey Lyman.
Casey's one E or two?
Two.
Two.
copies of the agenda.
I can go do that. Yes.
Thank you.
Oh. Tracy gonna do it?
No, he's given her the minutes he already read.
Do you have one not stapled?
No. Thank you. Is anyone still reading Appendix A? No? Can I have a motion related to approval of the revised minutes from January 9th, Appendix A?
Yes, I'll motion that.
You move to approve the minutes
Yes, I do.
from January 9th, 2023.
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Karen seconds. Any discussion?
Who made the motion?
Casey.
I made the motion.
Casey made the motion, Karen seconded. With no discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Stu, did you vote?
Why does he keep disappearing?
Stu?
Yes, I voted aye, I'm sorry.
Okay, motion passed. The second item is approval of the minutes from the previous regular meeting held February 13th, Appendix B. It's shorter and larger font. You're welcome.
I'm not quite done with that one.
Okay,
Okay.
no hurry. We'll see if they catch that. I can't make any motions or do anything. Just sit here. Sorry.
I can just know that.
Can we write it in and approve it?
How are you doing it?
It's supposed to be the Casper, well, I did my shorthand.
CMFPD is what it should be, well, here, right?
I'm
at the
talking
start.
about the fund.
Yeah, over here.
Oh, the Casper Mountain Wildland Firefighters Fund.
Instead of just the wildfire, or, what other page for?
Firefighters Fund. Cause that's the.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, thank you.
Okay, the very first one, the fourth page, top right, it needs to be called Casper Mountain Wildland Firefighters Fund. Not the wildfire fighter fund.
Yeah.
No. It's easier to edit on paper than online, isn't it?
Right, and Julie, the time?
I didn't do the minutes.
Okay,
These are Stu's minutes.
so it should be CMFPD Board meeting.
Oh, maybe I did put that. No, I didn't do that.
Cause it's the Casper Mountain Fire Prevention District.
Protection.
Protection. Yeah. Excuse me,
One of the P words.
yeah. CMFPD at any rate. Okay, on the treasurer's report on this month, that in the discussion, that there was a question asked if this money from Gail Falcons was what she said she was going to reimburse the district, and that was no, that was what she owed the district for the, information gathered. So that wasn't an affirmative answer. Two.
Second page.
I didn't have things.
In line, please.
Numbers, Stu's minutes. So I'm seeing a lot of revisions needing on, February 13th, Appendix B, as in boy. Does someone wanna make a motion to relate to this? Somebody wanna postpone voting on this until the revisions are made?
I will make a motion to postpone until revisions are made on this.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Casey voted to postpone approval of the minutes, Appendix B, February 13th, 2023, until revisions are made. And Karen seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
I
Aye.
have a question.
Oh, discussion?
What part of the February, 13th
Yes.
do we wanna change?
The name of, I'm sorry. I'm gonna slaughter it. One sec. Oh, yeah. At the very beginning, we are the CMFPD, not CMFD. Board. Special meeting, and then fourth page in, the wildfire fighter fund should be called the Casper Mountain Wildland Firefighter Fund.
So that's in the February meeting?
Yes,
the February minute?
Yes, February 13th meeting.
And we wanna table it?
Yeah, until we can fix things.
Postpone until you're able to revise it,
I
Stu?
think under Robert's Rules of Order, someone can just make
Well,
a
we
motion
can
to
amend
amend
it.
those.
Right now?
Correct it
Yeah,
right
Yeah, you
now.
can amend it.
Yeah, we can amend
Okay,
it,
okay.
and I'll I'll literally, you
Thanks.
tell me where the changes are, and I'll change it right now, and then we can send them out. And then I'll also put that, at the end of the minutes that it was amended, or as amended. Actually, it'll be up at the top.
Okay, Stu, did you get those two corrections?
So the first correction was what?
Your beginning title, CMFD, should be CMFPD. I know, I'm trying to. Board special meeting, right at the beginning, okay?
I guess I'm confused. We're looking at the February 13th meeting, correct? Minutes, excuse me, correct?
Yes,
Where you
And,
at?
I have CMFD Board special meeting. It shouldn't be special, should it?
It shouldn't, yeah.
it shouldn't be special meeting and it should be CMFPD,
Board meeting.
board meeting, no special.
Yeah, it should be regular meeting.
Yeah,
Correct.
But it
Good
should,
catch.
it should be CMF, P as in Peter, D, for the Casper Mountain Fire Protection District.
thanks, Lisa.
Okay,
You go, girl. Tell him that.
that correction's been made. Regular meeting's been made, and then it was just a minute, let me go down here to Lisa's part. I'm assuming that's where we're looking at, for the changing of the,
Yeah, at the top of page 4,
Page 4.
It just might
Okay.
not be.
instead of saying the Wildfire Fighter Fund, it is the Casper Mountain Wildland Firefighters Fund.
Wildland, all one word, firefighter.
Casper Mountain, the Casper Mountain Wildfire Fighter Fund.
Wildland Firefighter Fund.
You want me to text that to you, Stu?
Hold it up to the screen and let him read it.
Well, don't
That
worry.
has been changed. Also, those three amendments have been made.
So back up to page 2, that Gail Felkins, what she had sent was payment for the FOIA request. It was, none of that was what we paid the attorney's fees. So that was not an affirmative answer, it was no.
Good catch.
Was there another change?
Yes.
Yeah, under the treasurer's report in the discussion area, page 2. It was asked if the money received from Gail Falcons was part of what she said she would reimburse for the attorney's fees. That answer should be no, not affirmative.
Okay, I missed most of that. For some reason, it was phased in and out, if that's Pat speaking.
Yes, it's me, and I was just trying to place where it's at. You got a negative answer to the question, is this funds from Gail Falcons to reimburse the lawyer's fee? That should be a negative. That was what she owed the district for the copies made.
Okay, for some reason, I'm having a hard time
Casey.
hearing
Yeah.
Pat, but if
Okay,
anybody else I'm seeing, hearing.
okay, can you hear me? It's Casey talking.
Yeah, go ahead, Kate.
Okay, page 2, under treasurer's report, when it came to Gail Filkins, the answer to that should have been, that part should have been no, that was not for attorney fees. That was just for all the copies she wanted.
Change that last word in that paragraph from affirmative to no.
To a no.
Yeah, let me look. There it is. Okay. That was for reimbursement of copies?
Right.
Right, it had nothing to do with the attorney fees yet.
Okay.
Okay, so the answer to that is not affirmative, it's no.
Okay. Those changes have been made.
Okay.
They're still looking at the rest.
I have one more page.
I did not abstain to the vote on the radios. You might not have heard me. But there was no abstaining. That's on page 3. We need to take that off.
Did you hear that, Stu?
Are you there?
Alabama.
No, I did not, I'm sorry.
Page 3.
Page 3 at the very top for the radios, Pat is stating that she did not abstain to that.
She voted, I abstained. That's what I have in my notes, and I remember her saying that.
I wouldn't have abstained to radio purchases.
Which I thought was an unusual vote. I thought either she could go for or against.
Yeah, I did,
But
I
I
do
thought
not
it-
believe I abstained. I'm not speaking up, but I'm not abstaining.
I just lose them. You still there?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
so Pat, what did you vote?
I probably voted yes.
No, you abstained, which I thought was extremely unusual.
I misunderstood.
You have it on video?
I don't know, I would not have abstained on that radio vote. I would have had more to say than just I abstained.
I distinctly remember you, and I wrote it down that you abstained.
Do we have a recording of the meeting?
He's got it on film. So it doesn't change the outcome either way. That's a good thing. Rock, paper, scissors? I don't know, how do you solve this?
Spot. Rock, paper, scissors, spot. Oops, I got two of those. One hand. I know. Sorry.
Pat, would you like to put it that you voted yes instead of,
Yes. because I was confused with all the paperwork last month and couldn't figure out what we were doing. And I would not have abstained from that. I think you didn't hear me and you said Pat abstained or something, but I didn't abstain and I didn't correct it at the time.
Can, someone make a motion to change that?
I make a motion that you, change her answer either to yes or take it off completely.
Take it off completely.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
What was the final vote?
Well,
It passed either way, so
Yeah.
it's not gonna
It
sway the
passed.
vote either way.
But the way the minutes are going in.
It doesn't state on the
well,
minutes.
I distinctly remember, and I'm gonna stand by what I heard, and there was an abstain. So, if however the motion goes, it goes. And you're absolutely right, it won't change the outcome.
Can we remove it if she's asking us to?
I have issues with that, and I will do it in protest.
Okay.
Well, I think Karen's motion was just to delete that portion of the minutes where it says that Pat abstained.
Yeah.
Right. Did you hear that, Stu? The motion
Yeah, I
was
did.
just to delete that.
Well,
That way you're not changing it either way, it's just not there anymore.
I will change it, if it passes. But I do it under protest, just so you know.
Okay, all in favor? Motion passed.
You need to ask for no's.
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you.
And
There weren't any,
Stu,
but yes, all opposed?
Stu said no.
He said,
Opposed?
Okay,
Aye.
thank you, thanks. I'm glad Mr. Huber's here to keep me in my shoes here. All right. Treasurer's report, it's Casey Karen time.
are we doing the special meetings one or not right now?
That's gonna be after,
After,
that's
after.
down here.
So my treasurer's report
Mhm.
now,
So,
how do I
do
appropriate?
we need to approve these minutes first or?
Yeah,
Which,
The ones that were just.
February,
yeah,
February 13th.
we're done with that.
if there's no other corrections.
No other editing and revising,
Or-
any more discussion on the February 13th minutes?
I have no more discussion.
I think you'd want to ask for a motion to approve those as amended.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve those as amended? Can I have a motion to approve the February 13th, 2023 Appendix E? Motion to approve as amended?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Any more discussion? With no more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Mine was approved, sorry.
Motion passed.
Okay.
Now, treasurer's report. I'm trying to go fast and I need to slow down.
How do I appropriately tell you guys about the treasurer's report? Do I say my beginning balance and my ending?
I'd say the treasurer's report for whatever month it is, your beginning balance is.
Okay. Treasurer's report for February of 2023. Beginning, do I get the big cash amount? Do I start at the top? Okay. Beginning cash balance, $326,882.65. Do I have to put CDs and all that? Or no?
Yeah, I would go ahead and let them know. As far as what we earned, interest earned, and then what we
Okay.
paid out in bills.
On CD 0984, we had interest of $1.74 on that one. For CD 0985, we had $2.69 interest on this one. CD 1118, we had interest of $1.83. Savings, we have $132,383.91. Bills, wait, do I do the bills or no? Or just do any amounts?
At least give the beginning and ending balance of the checking account.
Beginning balance of checking account is $162,870.10. Ending in checking account is $163,637.15. So total ending balance for treasurer's report of February is $327,777.88. I'll do that smoother next time. Sorry, everyone.
You were good.
Okay.
Is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
Make a
To
motion
accept
that we
this-
accept the
Motion to
treasurer's
accept the
report.
treasurer's report.
Karen makes a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Is there a second?
Am I allowed to second my own? Probably not.
I'll second.
Any discussion, amendments? With no discussion and amendments, all in favor of accepting the treasurer's report?
Aye.
Aye.
Stu?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Who made the motion? Was it Karen?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
The second, you have your second report, bills?
Oh, am I supposed to get that
Yep.
right now?
Yep.
Do I just read them off?
Just tell what your bills and receipts were for the month of.
All right, for Verizon was $102.59. Wyoming Retirement, pension was $206.25. Rocky Mountain Power was $204.78. Jonah Bank Visa, we had our Microsoft subscription go through for the year. We didn't really vote on that or anything, so it went right through, in the amount of $104.99. Blakeman Propane, the tank rentals came through, so that's $288. And then I'm doing a reimbursement to Pat Hirschman, she went and got new post office keys, in the amount of $40. Total amount of bills is $946.61. We had one deposit for property taxes in the amount of $2,480.65. That's it.
And you need to make a,
Mike, hey Casey, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
On the Verizon bill, and for the board, does anybody know if we have canceled that, jetpack since we got the other installed in the station?
I do not know.
I don't know anything about it, and I am not quite on the account yet, so I haven't gotten to see the actual charges, I just have the bill.
Okay, does the bill have two different numbers being charged?
Yes.
It has 3, actually. I have phone number 307-259-9854. I have phone number 307-262-3346.
That's the station.
And then I have phone number 307-439-8074.
Okay, would you, either
for the other way, but
I have 3 phone numbers.
that would be part of the confusion was that, yeah,
So the normal cost of the jetpack was how much per month? We could probably see the charge if that was the jet. I'm sorry?
Is it $10 on there?
Should be your first one.
No, I have, the first phone number is a monthly charge of $39.99. Second one, which is the station phone number, is $20. And then the third number, is $39.99.
Yeah, so it'd be that first one. that was-
Do you think it's the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's the check? This one?
I missed the numbers.
Where's the check?
Hold on.
Where do I
Right here.
sign?
When you open it up and go through each bill, there's a check that needs to be signed.
You and me.
And Casey, on here, we need
Yes,
to
sir.
change that to March, cause these are due
Oh,
for
no.
March. not
I'm
February.
sorry, I did mess that up. It needs to say March bills, not February bills. I don't think I updated that when I did this, I'm sorry.
Do you have a pen, Ms. Lakaba?
So, do I need to make a motion
Take off.
to fix my bill?
Yeah, I,
and that can be in the
motion, when we make a motion to approve it.
We make a
With
motion.
amendment.
fix the Verizon bill.
Yeah, well, no, to fix,
Oh, yeah, that
That
can be
matters.
done in a motion.
oh, okay,
Well,
perfect.
I have a motion to approve the bills to be paid with the correction from February to March.
I make a motion that we approve that. The bills and receipts with the correction on the month.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Karen made the motion.
Okay, what was the motion? Repeat the motion, please.
The motion was to approve the bills to be paid with an amendment changing the month from February to March.
Okay.
Karen made the
Thank you.
motion, Pat seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Stu, are you in favor? All opposed? Stu, can you hear me?
Yeah, I voted aye.
Motion passed. The next item on the agenda is the fire chief's report, Appendix D, as in dog. Doesn't matter if that's on top of it.
Okay, we had one one fire call. It was on March 1st. It was for alarm down in Garden Creek, and it was just a misfiring alarm. The ARPA grant, the radios have been requested to be ordered through the state. So that all is a go. It's going to be billed to Comtech, so we had to get all that changed. We had to go in and get a new and updated estimate, or quote, I guess, a quote, so that it matched what the money was that we got. So that took 3 days of finagling, but it all got worked out. The VFA grant, the radios will be ordered hopefully by the first part of April, but Comtech was so busy with 400 and some radios requests and everything for Natrona County, they're kinda hopping, but they'll attach that, and then for the VFA grant, that will be done separate. I mean, you know, for our stuff. Emergency reporting is hopefully, per state, going to be replaced because it has now been overtaken by EOS, which is Emergency Operations. And that's, everybody quit EOS and went to ER because they didn't like EOS. Well, now EOS is back in the mix. The state forester has talked to the governor and the Attorney General and all these good people, and they want it all to go onto the same, everybody using the same stuff in the entire state. So they're looking at different options for that. They don't foresee it happening here within the next couple of months because they're doing research. But regardless of what happens, our portion of what we would have to pay just strictly for fire calls for the year could be $1,500. So I'm just giving you a heads up that that'll be a new thing added to the budget for next year. Cause when he brought it up at the chief's meeting, we informed him we're all getting ready to turn our budgets in next month. So we need answers to this now. So I talked to Chief Oliver and I talked to Chief Malsum. And I said, okay, throw me out a ballpark figure, you know, like 500. And Leo said, oh, no. They said 12 to 1,500 is what they figured it would cost our department. So I'm gonna go with the 15 and we're gonna hope for much lower, or that for volunteer departments, they will still, just for the reporting part, no extras. Hopefully the state will cover it when they see that the entire state is going to go to the same reporting system. So, I just kinda wanted that out there in case y'all are out there hearing stuff about it or anything odd like that. And then the next thing, huh?
Was the 1,500 for ER or for a new system?
It would be for a new system if the state does not cover the smaller volunteer departments that all they use is strictly for reporting stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. And now, there's been a lot of talk out there about all lithium batteries, whether it's in your phone, your scooter, your e-bike, your Barbie Jeep. Like I want my child sitting on a lithium battery. Or your Tesla, because you have nothing better to do with your money. It's terrifying. And then when you, assuming you have the hundreds of thousands of gallons of water it would take for a major incident, the EPA will step in and charge you to clean it up. So, Brant is going to do a presentation for us.
Stu, I'm going to unplug you so I can use your speakers, is that all right? Stu, I'm gonna put you off the speakers.
No.
Stu, are you with me?
I'll text him.
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay.
And I can see your screen too.
Okay, I'm gonna unplug you, so speak loud if you need a question.
Will do.
Is that your new camera, that little bitty thing? Groovy.
Good evening, my name is Brant Young. I have some new board members, so I'd like to introduce myself. I started the volunteer fire service in 1989. I have worked for 3 different departments through that time. I started with Casper Mountain Fire in '02 and have been training officer, assistant chief, and chief during that time going through that. I have also worked for the board, 6, 7 wildland fire seasons, logging over 1,000 hours, wildland federal firefighting activities for the board. So just to kind of let you know who I am and who is speaking to you.
Thank you for
Lisa?
your service.
You're welcome. Would you like?
Oh, I need to hit your
Or I
space
guess I could
bar.
have a microphone.
This is where I'm
Well,
gonna
like,
space out.
Lisa said, there's a growing concern with the lithium batteries, and so I put this proposal together for the board. And if you can just hit it one more time.
Is there a captioning option where we can read it on your?
You have to have the dramatic music.
Oh,
No, I can't find it. I am blind.
You need to do your glasses.
There we go. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Just a quick second here.
Looks like a grill cover.
It is a fire grill.
Yeah. Stuff that it's up to sleep and pick out.
You should have looked here.
You guys already got that.
We just signed on that. That's what I had.
By removing the oxygen supply, the blanket effectively isolates the fire. Car fires are dangerous, toxic, and hard to contain. A car fire in a gas station, road tunnel, parking lot, garage, or passenger ferry can quickly escalate. And unfortunately, they're all too common, making up 15% of all fires in the U.S., costing hundreds of lives and billions each year in property damage. Introducing the Bridge Hill Car Fire Blanket, available from Darling. The quick and effective way to isolate a car fire and avoid the risk of heavy smoke or fire spread. By removing the oxygen supply, the blanket effectively isolates the fire within seconds after covering the active vehicle fire, protecting people and property. The toxic gases and fumes common to car fires are also easily contained. Reusable up to 30 times, the fire blanket will perform again and again. Just rinse, dry, and it's ready to go. A high-strength, fire-retardant quartz fabric weave is what makes the fire blanket possible. Tear-resistant, easy to patch, and capable of handling temperatures up to 2,500 degrees, the car fire blanket's material won't quit on you on the fire ground. The car fire blanket goes with you to wherever the fire is. Designed with portability in mind, the 18 by 24 foot blanket folds easily into the included backpack. Deploying the blanket is an easy two-person operation, saving you valuable on-scene time and resources. Bridge Hill offers blankets in varying sizes, opening up its applications to manufacturing, warehousing, structured fire containment, and more. The car fire blanket is even a solution for electric vehicle fires, which pose a unique problem where traditional suppression methods are ineffective. The Bridge Hill Fire Blanket is a great addition to any organization's toolset of modern fire suppression equipment. Get yours today, exclusively from Darling.
Want me to hit space?
Yes, please. So there are other options that are popular, and this is another option for putting out lithium car fires. Truly, you just have to let it burn out. It is extremely hard to cool these fires down, but that is a portable tub that you can purchase. You put it around the car fire, fill it up, and let it burn out that way.
But if you do that, because of the contamination from the lithium ion batteries entering the water, you will have to have a hazmat team come in and clean it and remove that water.
Next, please. All right, so why a fire blanket for us? Primary use would be for vehicle fires. When I was looking at statistics a few years ago in the fire department, our second most calls on the mountain were vehicle fires. What this blanket would do is take the car out of an equation of a wildland fire. So the picture demonstrates that. Here we are on the mountain, we have a vehicle fire, and it takes off up the mountain. And so if we have this blanket, we can go ahead and throw it over the car that then contains that fire, and then we can focus on the wildland fire. This also opens up for more manpower, that we can go ahead and fight that wildland fire. If it is just regular and we're pumping water on there, you have to have an engineer on the truck, you have to have 2 guys on the hose, they're SCBA'd up, you have a lot of manpower tied up with that vehicle. Also, it'll allow you time. Let's say that you pull up to a car fire, maybe it's a camper, maybe there's a lot more things to it. You are lacking your water resources to go ahead and attack that fire. You could put the blanket on and wait for other resources to arrive. Or let's say that you do get to the fire, go ahead and attack it with your fire truck and your water supply is starting to run low. Your second plan is then to just go ahead and throw a blanket over it until more resources can come and you can cool that down. And also you're gonna have less toxic water runoff, just like Chief was mentioning through these car fires. These are for alternative fuel vehicles, and a lot of times we just think about electric vehicles, but there are a lot of other things. I know Margot has a hybrid, I have a hybrid. Up on top, that's a gas and electric. You can also have a plug-in hybrid, which you plug into electric and also have a gasoline engine. You can have pure electric, you can have natural gas, fuel cells, flex fuel vehicles, all of those. The top one, normally a car fire, 500 to 1,000 gallons of water to put that out. Our trucks do hold that, so we are equipped to take that on. But Teslas can take up to 30 to 40,000 gallons of water, maybe even more, to extinguish that battery pack as it starts. The next one there, Tesla car battery, spontaneously combusts on a freeway, 6,000 gallons to put that battery out. And the bottom one, attempted many times to put it out. Finally, they just dug a pit, filled it with water, submerged the burning car. That extinguished the battery. They needed 4,500 gallons of water. And so that's a few trucks if you're pulling up to actually cool these batteries down enough to stop the reaction. This is according to Fire Rescue article, electric vehicle fires, the waiting game. You know, firemen are very protective of their past, and we squirt water, and that's what we do. And that's something that we need to get away from, thinking about these electric car fires. We do have all of these at our disposal. The first one there is the foam. We do have foam on our trucks, but to smother this, it doesn't matter if you smother an electric vehicle because the batteries produce its own oxygen. And so the fire continues to burn. Also, the batteries are in a watertight compartment and they're a fire-resistant box. Number two is a Class D extinguisher. Unfortunately, these batteries are not solid metal, and so they're not as effective. And also, again, they're in a watertight, fire-resistant box. You can have a pancake nozzle that you slide under the vehicle, sprays it up, but still, that water is not getting into the firebox to cool down those batteries. And so you're just squirting water to squirt water as you're there. A piercing nozzle, which would be a nozzle at the end that's very sharp and you just pierce through concrete, you can pierce through metals. Unfortunately, the NFPA and the EV manufacturers warn against this as gaining access because of electrocution hazards. And a fire blanket, and that's what we're looking at. Smother, regular fuel, yes. If we have diesel car fires, you can throw this over the top, let it smother it, and it will go out. But lithium, again, produces its own oxygen, and so right now, letting it burn out is your best option. But what this does is it protects the exposures around your vehicle fire, and you also have time for an alternative plan. How are we going to put this out? So there again is another picture of what we're looking at, or this brand that we're looking at. The Bridge Hill company puts this out. With that, there are thousands of cars around the world every single day. Most of them extinguish using foam or water, but these methods throw up, again, toxic fumes. They drain hazardous substances into the groundwater. With the blankets, they don't do this. They take that out of the equation. They isolate the smoke without spreading those toxic fumes, and it's also safer for the people in the environment. And so it's fast. All you need to do is get the blanket over the top and it starts to work. It's effective, starts to extinguish a fire within minutes. It's simple. All we have to do is walk by the car and put it on. And one of the reasons that they were doing this, and most of my research comes out of Europe, is ferries that ferry cars. And so when they have all these cars stacked on these ferries, they need a way to make sure that if something does happen to a car or car fire, they have a way to smother that so it doesn't extend into other cars. Eco-friendly, we're going to talk a little more about that, and universal. So, and this is where the electric cars come into it. Lisa, you're doing a fantastic job. Environmental friendly again. So the water that runs off, it's got to run off somewhere, especially here up on the mountain. Will be squirting and it's going to go somewhere. So those toxins are going to end up in the soil, possibly into the groundwater. The toxins are released into the atmosphere. We want to protect that. A carcinogen exposure is cut for firefighters and others around with the smoke and the gases, and also keeps the civilian population. One cool thing about this piece of equipment is it just isn't specialized to car fires. So they have heavy-duty eyelets on this blanket. And so as you can see here, they have a burning building, but beside the building, they have their blanket on their exposure. And that protects that exposure from the fire. You can actually, they said, hang it on the burning building. So let's say the wind is blowing in from this direction, the fire is really heating up, that wind is blowing that through, you can actually put the blanket on this side of the burning building. That will cut down the amount of fire that's burned there, and this will be the last wall that then burns. So you've cut out kind of that airflow that comes across, it's got to come around, and it's calming that fire down just by kind of taking that wall away if we have some high winds on that. So there's a lot of options for those things. Covering propane tanks, and I was just brainstorming. You got your wildland fire truck out there, and here comes a big poof of fire. You can throw that across that. Also a salvage cover, so something inside a fire, you want to try to keep it from burning up. You can throw that tarp over that, exit the building, and see what happens for those type of things. Lithium batteries. So we kind of just talked about the cars, but there are many other things that we have to worry about as the fire service. So the solar and wind powered energy up here on the mountain, the battery storage is there. Backup generators, if you have those, they also have storage capabilities. You have your e-bikes and phones. And one of the concerns that I can see for us as our trails for bikes continue to grow are the e-bikes that run around out there, or a phone. As Lisa told me, if she was biking on a trail and her phone caught fire, the first thing that she'd do is check it. So, and then it's not going to go out. And so what we have is they also sell littler blankets that you can take in and do those smaller fires. And so I was looking for something a little more portable. Maybe it's way out on some bike trail. There's no way we're going to get there with a fire truck. We're not going to be able to lay hose. We still have that fire going. If we can just throw that into a backpack and away we go, ride our bike, an ATV, whatever it is, we can arrive at that fire, throw the blanket over it, and we've taken that heat out of the equation. Lisa also mentioned the toys or electric tools now. I know Margo was so excited about her electric chainsaw that she got to run a couple summers ago.
Is it lithium?
I'm sure all the batteries now. So saws, lawnmowers, and the Barbie cars, as we're looking for those. And so there's lithium is in our life, and that's just the fact that we're going to have to deal with.
And while we're talking about this, so I talked to Chief Gay out in Mills too to see if they had any of these. And they had a fire in March of 2021 in a trailer, and they couldn't figure out why they're dumping all this water, especially on the point of origin, trying to get it put out, and they get in there and they talk to the young girl whose bedroom it was and everything, and she had been charging her scooter. And you know how it gets in kids' bedrooms, you come in and you throw your coat over, well, they're assuming that it had covered to where the charging unit couldn't get enough air in, and that they were having to do protection on either side in the trailer court because they knew they weren't gonna stop the fire in that one, so.
Remember that car? This is a tunnel. There's the same car. 20 minutes later, no water, no fire department.
Wow.
Questions?
I thought it created its own air, the lithium battery. So how
That
does
was just a
work?
regular car. So that was just a regular car fire, that they put it on, 20 minutes later, drug it off, and then that it is. So with the lithium, and I've got another page down below, which you usually put the blanket on, and you come back about 24 hours later, the battery's burned out, and the fire's out. Yes,
I read it's reusable up to, what, 30 times?
30 times, yes.
What's the shelf life on it? If you're not using it, it is sitting on the shelf, 4 years?
You know, I looked at that, and I did not find any information about that. I would think that if you kept it out of the sun, out of, you know, extreme temperatures,
Similar to a PPE, maybe?
it's gonna be for a long time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It would certainly cut down on the spread of wildland fires in this area, because I mean, if we have a electric car, God forbid, catch on fire anywhere near a drainage, even at Bear Trap, any water we use is gonna go into Elkhorn Creek, and then it's off to the races. I spent 16 hours with the EPA and Emergency Management after one Sunday of Bear Trap, because a person up here had put something in to show people how cool it was in the water cleaning system of their motorhomes, and it was non-toxic, but it got reported. Let me tell you, the EPA are not fun to play with. And finally, after 2 8-hour days of following it, doing soil samples and we realized, yeah, it was non-toxic, yeah, it shouldn't have been done, but this, there'll be a big fine. And then there'll be big money for cleanup to have it done too.
So what does it cost?
Oh, great question. But
I can't believe the board hadn't asked, but
I'm learning, I'm
I
learning.
don't want to know.
so $3,230, and I tried to get in to see about shipping and things like that. And you had to register and get in, and there's international shipping. It must come from overseas, things like that. But that's the price that I can find on the Darley site. We have Mark Cowan. He works for, or he's on the fire department, and he works for a distributor. Called him up, and he said if we went through his company, they would have to go through Darley because they are the distributor for this also. So that's what that is. And then we talked about the more portable one, e-bikes on the trail, things like that, where you can just get a fire blanket, and we're looking at $400 or something like that. So 5% of the calls caused 95% of our damage. The 2016 sheepherder fire was ignited by a vehicle as it was cruising through the grass on those type of things. And don't forget, even though we get these things, we need to send our firefighters to fire schools, get them trained. I don't know, it's been a few years, COVID and those type of things. We need to get our firefighters into training, into fire schools, and keep us fresh and up to date on what's going on with these things.
Well, look at when the electric hybrids first came out, you and I did car fires on those at Cody, and what'd they say?
They said, find the most expensive thing
Yep.
that you can see and beat it with a hammer.
Yep,
That's how you,
that's
Cut
how
out
they
the
were
stuff.
being handled then.
and reading about the fires, They're no more dangerous than gasoline fires. The electrocution part, because they're not grounded to the ground, putting water on them does not pose an electrocution risk unless you then close the circuit between, say, a battery and a battery. So if you're in there and you're cutting with tools and you're hitting those big wires, then that's when you run into that risk. I had a hand up for a question.
Yeah, two questions and these look wonderful and I very much support them. But I'm trying to picture maybe extra equipment that might be needed as far as you mentioned over camper. How many of us are tall enough to get it stretched over top? Would we need like extra extension poles to accomplish that? Or?
I thought about that, and so you have pipe poles, and they have the garments in them, so you can do that. I'm not sure it would cover a camper. I think what I was looking at is if you had a pickup and a camper, and the camper caught fire coming up the mountain, you could actually throw the blanket on the pickup or on the camper to protect one of the two, but you're probably not gonna be able to put out a camper with this size. It is, again, was it 19 by 26 feet, 20 by 26 feet, something like that. And then, as you saw in the videos, you walk by and you don't kick it underneath, but you just step it underneath and then cut that oxygen supply on. So
that
yeah.
leads to the next question then, because we're being taught that, you know, we have to deal with the EPA as far as the water and stuff, but that blanket absorbs everything and then it just washes off. Is it need a special wash facility so that when we wash those toxins off, they don't just go into the.
Yeah, we take it over to Dave's house. And got that big concrete pad over there, power washer.
I don't think as many contaminants would come off the blanket as it does when if you try to start to get to where you can get in to get the battery wet, all sorts of bad stuff spews out then. I mean, the smoke is toxic, but that's a good question.
I got it, but the EPA is the EPA.
Yeah, and we know
it's
how
just
well they
kinda-
like to play well with others.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just two questions that popped up into my mind that, yeah, these are great applications, but what about, you know, cause we're the EPA and then, oh, we can just wash it off. And it's
Still
like,
having runoff.
Yeah.
we have to wash it
But
off.
then the other one is putting the
Yes.
wire of water on the fire is going to
To keep
cause
it.
a much greater problem than it is washing the blanket off.
How do you guys wash off, sorry,
No,
I have no idea, I'm
Yeah,
not.
that's
even
what
close
you're
to a
for.
firefighter. How do you guys wash off all your equipment and stuff like that?
We have a power washer and down here in the bay, and then we take the mud and soot and stuff like that off our hoses, hang it up to dry and roll it up and away we go again. Great question.
Cause I'm assuming you guys probably get a lot of chemicals on yourself when you're in there, or like in house fires or anything like that.
There are special detergents, special washing machines, those type of things that,
Okay,
And we have some
Good
special
question.
detergent here that Cheyenne ordered way too much of, so they gave some to us and then we dispersed it around Casper, and then county, if it's our bunkers, county has said that they'll wash our bunkers if I take them out to them.
well,
I thought maybe
appreciate-
you could wash the car blanket that way, with the same type of stuff.
Do they say how much that weighs? Just curious.
Yes,
anywhere?
it was 40 kilograms, which is.
That's under 20 pounds.
Yeah, it's under.
Divided by
It's not
2.2.
light, the big one. Oh, we're not quite there yet.
Oh, sorry.
Just because I kicked you out, didn't mean I didn't need you.
Okay. I'll stand here so I can run lights.
Any other questions?
How long has that product been on the market? And is it- 2014 might have been the first one I was looking back. In Germany, they have these blankets in 116 fire departments at this time, Does the
with
city-
more going on.
The city or the county?
No one in the county has them. Also, again, Mark Cowan that I talked to, or who is a volunteer up here, who travels 3 states, I believe, for his business. He does not know of any other department that uses them, but I'm sure it would be a specific question that he'd have to ask.
And
I did stop by Station 1, talk to them about it. They were sending someone next Monday to Cheyenne for an NFPA class on EV
fires. But right now, they're not doing anything. A lot of research that I saw were wrecker companies. These will start back up 20 hours later again, start to burn, and there were reports, of course, you can always find somebody that drug it onto a wrecker and it starts to burn again, those type of things. So they just put the blanket on, they take a rope, just kind of tie it down so it stays down, and that's how they were hauling those cars off. But at
And
this time, the city didn't know of any wrecker company that had anything to do with fire blankets.
They don't, cause I called Jeanette to double check, and she said, yeah, they'll tow them. And she said, but she does know of instance in Cheyenne where they took it to the yard, and a couple days later, the battery reignited. And so, I said, well, maybe you guys ought to get a blanket for mad towing, but, yeah, Mills, they had two of their guys approach Chief Gay about them, cause I just think it's gonna be more and more and more, and I don't wanna sound like this is gonna sound, but hey, those of you that live here get it. So all these people from out of state, you know, that are gonna bring in all their clean energy and all this stuff, it's gonna create a nightmare for fire stuff.
And again, it's just not a single purpose blanket. You know, EV, this is a great solution for it, but just regular cars, fantastic. And, you know, the other damage control also. Mike, thank you for your questions.
That's 'cause what did I ask?
Do you have one for your e-bike, Mike?
No.
So they do sell them. Here's another option that we could go take a look at. This is a portable tank. So they have the car fire, they wet it down, they put together this tank, a crane comes in and they submerge it in the tank.
How's it work on a hill?
Down the mountain.
And who comes and gets the water?
There it is, 40 kilograms, 6 by 8 meters. 2 people to put it on. You saw people without fire experiences. They're putting these into industrial buildings for the electric forklifts. So if you got a fire with a forklift, they run over there, grab that blanket, and the employees cover it up. Lithium fires, again, you can't extinguish them. They have to burn out. You have to let that lithium battery burn out. Could take up to 12, 24 hours, but the blanket does limit the fire burning, stopping the spread. Environmental friendly, as you're looking for.
Until you take the blanket off and then it'll burn.
Up to 24 hours. So with the blanket under it, it continues to burn. So you go ahead and let it burn.
Until
out.
everything's burnt.
You
Yeah,
just
until
let it
there's
burn.
nothing left to burn.
And another option, and this is a big one, they are bringing this into Europe for trucks they're building for this. So we'll just skip ahead here. This is how they deal with it. There you go.
Yep, looks good.
Fire out.
Is that like an old sea can that they
Yep,
just took
you
the
just
top
stick a
off
sea
of?
can. They've got all kinds of trucks now, they're just for EV cars. They have a giant sea can type thing that comes, they have a lid, they just bring in a forklift, dump it in, and that's how they're taking care of it over there. So,
I'm learning so much about firefighters. This is
That's
great.
right. Well, you know, you can come to trainings anytime.
No, no, thank you.
we're not gonna-
I got enough jobs, and now I have this. What was I doing?
Thank you very much, Brant. Will you
Nice
plug back in
presentation.
Stu if Stu has a question?
Absolutely.
But thank you very much. That
So,
was,
what I'd like to do is make the proposal. Okay, Stu, I got you plugged back in. We'd like to have this by fire season this year. Why put it off, because we're looking for that, so. In a couple months, I'm just not sure what the time delay is to get things shipped over. Does Darley have them here in the United States, those type of things, without me actually getting in there and putting in personal information to see about shipping and things like that. So that's what I'm looking for from the board, is some sort of ballpark figure that maybe we can work with, just set of limits, like, you know, if you go over this amount, please come back to the board. Let it be.
How many are you thinking you would like?
Just
Oh,
one.
just one?
Just one blanket, and then a smaller one, again, for more portable
access to e-bikes, Barbie bikes, chainsaws. Sorry, that's because your phone went, and you did that, and then you dropped the battery, and there's two fires going on.
He threw you under the bus, Margo.
Margaret's having a rough day. Thanks for looking for that, so. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I was also thinking, you know, like, let's look at who got whacked in the knee during the Sheepherder or Hill Fire when moving wood. Wouldn't it have been nicer to just walk up on that deck and go, well, screw it, plop. Ta-da, we have the fire out around it, your firewood's safe, we're gonna take our blanket and go. Cause, I mean, we were moving it fast, and Brant got whacked in the leg. Twice.
Except for that,
It's
we're
on
only
video.
taking care of one house instead of the multiple houses we had to take care of.
Right, but I'm just saying, you know, say we get one structure fire that has something near it, we can use
Woodshed
it
next to it.
as that protection and help, you know, or the people aren't home, but we've got cars there, well, we're gonna work on getting the grass under the car and everything out, but in the meantime, we're gonna protect your car. With this, I mean, there's just so many versatile uses that I can see that. Besides batteries that I would not put my child over to go have fun.
So are you thinking just one to try it out and then possibly more if you liked it? No, just
I
one?
think one would do. Usually don't have multiple car fires. things
No,
like that.
one of each size.
I'm thinking of the protection aspect, like you said, though, if you have a house fire, it'd be nice to have enough to block off it from spreading. But there's other ways, I'm sure.
There's other ways, we have calves, so it's compressed air foam
Yeah,
units
yeah.
that put that shaving cream, so we can put shaving cream, which
Yeah,
is another protector, and things like that, so. Yeah, thanks.
thank you. Cool. Any other questions? Thanks for your presentation. Next order of business is to verify and stamp all the old approved minutes to be turned into the clerk. So we have December 12th, December 22nd, January 16th. These are, the 12th and the 22nd were minutes taken before Casey and I were on the board. So we really can't verify them. The only, I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, Stu had a question about that.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No,
Stu must not be able to hear us. How heavy will wind affect this? Or I'm assuming how will heavy wind affect this? Is Stu's question, oh,
You will probably have to have multiple firefighters running that blanket if there is a wind event going with it, yeah.
okay,
It's gonna be a sail,
is it
it's
Cassie?
just something we need to play with.
right,
Good question.
okay,
I
thank
thought
you.
about that.
Anything else, Stu?
Okay, we're good.
So will this be part of your budget request?
Well, he would like it, he would like a motion to go by them now, because the budget will not, the budget I'm currently working on would not take effect until July of 2023.
Do you have money in your budget still that you haven't spent?
I do.
I don't.
Thank you, Julie, that was my question.
Which one?
That we have money in the budget.
So do we get tires or do we get blanket?
Well, we could, the bunkers that were approved, we found a set that fit Windish, so that would cover the blanket, I would think. I would have to be able to look at the budget, and I don't have it with me.
How many are you looking at getting to?
One of the car size and one of the bike size. And my suggestion too was to talk to, Callan and see, you know, if Curtis and Sons, if we're the first to go through Curtis and Sons and get it, then, you know, if he went through a company, you know, would they not nail as high on shipping and handling international? So that's something I told Brant we need to kind of double check with Mark Callan on as well, or if it'd just be better for us to order it ourselves.
Okay.
Well, as far as money in the structure safety equipment, we approved $5,976.50 for bunkers. So there's 2 pairs of bunkers and then some boots and gloves in addition.
So that would be,
That would be more than enough for both.
how much did you say, Pat? I'm sorry.
$5,976.50.
And it'd be right around 5,000, cause I went 3,300 for the blanket thing and 17 for the smaller one. So that'd put it right at 5 even. But we'd have to look in.
Shipping for the big one and then 389 for the
Yeah.
little one.
Oh, it was for the smaller one, why was I thinking,
It was 400.
oh, it was the 1,600 was for the one-time use one.
Yes. And
Yeah,
I'll have to double check those prices on that,
3,600
the
plus.
small one.
right, so the bunker stuff would be enough to cover it. But we could also look and figure out what postage, shipping, all that good stuff would be for the next board meeting. And then, that good with you, if we work on that and come up with a number, or can we just have you say, don't go over the 5,906 whatever for bunkers?
Well, if you don't mind, I would just offer the thought that, you know, that looked like a really neat appliance in the pictures and everything. You know, I always kind of hate being the guinea pig that goes out first and gets something that it looks a little bit, you know, if it does what the videos show, that's a cool way of doing it. And would be a much more safer way than attacking any kind of a vehicle fire, than, you know, than what we currently do, where, you know, but,
Can we do
my
it
only
older?
question is, does it actually do what they show?
Can we T&E one?
Pardon?
Can we T&E one? You know, basically, if it does what they say, get like a small one, does it do what they say, and then we take and say, okay, it does it, we want one.
We can light your car on fire and then try it out.
I'm sure that there's lithium batteries around the junkyards. I don't have an electric vehicle.
Again, there are 116 departments in Germany who do use this, as you're looking for that.
Everybody
There are
knows.
several videos out there. Lots of demonstrations, obviously, I haven't found any live, but I would probably have to do more extensive research.
Yeah, 'cause it's a neat looking thing, you know.
Rosenbauer has a thing out that it looks like a little robot. Rosenbauer is a fire department company, fire truck apparatus. And you stick it underneath and it's like a spider and it sticks this thing up into it and sprays water and you gotta have things. Right now, common practice in the United States is handyman jacks. And I found Mike right off the bat, it's like, yeah, this is the way we should fight it. So they take 2 handyman jacks and they just tip it up so they can get underneath it. And then that's how they put the fire out with handyman jacks.
I don't know
So
if
you
I'm
still have
dealing
your
with a handyman
hazmat.
jack with a car on fire.
You still have your hazmat
No.
doing that, if it's a lithium battery,
You're
like
still.
you're saying, right?
Well, hazmat comes a lot later, you're gonna
Yeah.
take the fire out. There's a lot of discussion about the batteries, when you hit a barrier at about 100 miles an hour, the battery explodes or just showers all over the place. And so they're talking about what's called stranded energy, and so there is no device right now that detects if this chunk of battery still has charge in it or it doesn't have charge in it. And so there was a mess in California, shut down the highway, 6 lanes, this guy just boom, there was battery all over and they didn't wanna play with it. It was a mess.
Well, and I'm also looking at it too, like, so we've got solar panels at a house, fire encroaching, wildland, we know it's gonna get ugly, especially if it hits those solar panels, cause then we won't be able to do diddly, cause now everything is charged. If we went up, like say Camille's solar panels that you see sitting there, so we have wildland encroaching, we get that blanket, we could cover those solar panels and protect that zone that fast, while
Well-
people dig line around it and have it go out and around, and we've
Your,
reduced our firefighters' risk there.
your fires and your solar panels, it's the batteries
No, but what
from
I'm,
them.
right, but what I'm saying is protect that area and then find out where it's stored, and, cause I told Brett, even the chicken coop is solar paneled. That struck me doing all this lithium, and I'm like, good, where the hell's the lithium battery for the chickens? So,
Well, you know, if you don't mind my 2 cents worth, I think we're bogging down and going down a rabbit hole talking about lithium batteries, lithium batteries, lithium batteries. The bigger picture that I see with this is something that I've always been concerned about. Our department, does not have enough people that are able to get to a fire in a timely manner to really correctly and safely attack a vehicle fire in
Right.
conventional ways. And so if you had something like this, where you're not having to have guys all bunkered up, packed up, you know, firefighter one trained and all that kind of stuff, to go and attack that vehicle fire safely. This is something that looks to me like if it does and deploys the way that the video showed, you could have potentially, you know, two guys on a truck show up, and I'm a little bit spooky about this 2 guys on a truck even, but show up, have some, weights, you know, like some of those barbell kind of things that you hook on one end of that blanket, start at one end of the car, deploy it over the top of it, anchor it down, and step back and just let the blanket sit there and do its thing.
And then-
Regardless of whether if it's an electric car, or a 59 Edsel, you know, you could do that. And it looked to me like do it much more safely than, having an inadequately trained guys going up there and wanting to do good, and so they start squirting water to put the-
right, well, and it's cutting down on the
That's a big worry.
methylphilia that everybody is inhaling from the smoke in that vehicle as well, cause you've smothered it.
And this presentation was put together for a amount of money in the board. There are several other videos that I've saved that goes with the training part of it. So that aspect of the firefighter, how you get it out, what the wind is doing, how it unfolds, how you fold it back up, caretaking, deployment, all of that is saved for the fire department. You guys don't need to know that.
Right.
You need to know what it does. Is this something, the fire department would appreciate another tool in the toolbox.
Well, I respect the firefighter's opinion on this. I like the price, I like the video, but I'm in no way making a decision whether this is effective or not. Sometimes being out front before it catches on and becomes a fad, you might get a little price, you might see the price go, you know, with all these lithium stuff. I don't know if it's good to be out in the forefront, or if you wanna see if it's tried and true. It doesn't seem to be that huge of amount of money. I say go for it.
Especially since we don't have to get those bunkers anymore, cause,
Well, we have the money.
right, and we've got it, so, like, you know, the amount for the bunkers, which Pat, once again, 5,906, 5,000,
And
please and thank you.
It probably wouldn't,
59,
wouldn't cost over 5,000 to do this program, would it?
0.50.
0.50, 5976.50.
Cut me off at
Can I-
5,000 and say if it goes over that amount, come see us again.
Right, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Someone said in all of the suggestions by the small one, what were they meaning by the small one? And is this the 32,000 one, the largest they come? Is, I thought I saw in there, there's various sizes. I'm just curious as to what people had in mind by a small one, the little portable one to just do test batteries and stuff. You can't use my electric batteries, not till they're dead.
Well, and this is a big technology, and there's, some people are gonna jump in and make money. This is where the airlines, that's what they have on all the airlines, the one that just caught fire last week, that's what this is, it's a box. They take out their gloves, they grab that, put it in, boop, and that's what we're talking about, is this material. Pat, there, and again, I'm just looking at sale prices from Darley, and so they had a 10 by 10, but I was also looking at weight, because I wanna make it portable enough that we can take it on the trail. That's what we would use this one for. So I am not up to that research. Somebody said there were custom sizes on one of the videos.
Yeah, but that would be
Okay.
hard.
There was the 6x8, that was 120 pounds for 32, 30 is what it looked like. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
that
the
would
big
be
one,
that big.
6 meters by 8 meters.
So
that's a
20 foot
20
by
24.
26?
I was gonna
So
say
that would be the
24
one
by,
that you want.
That's the
18.
car fire one.
yeah,
Yeah, and I agree, that, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if we're gonna try
3.8.
it, let's get one that's gonna cover almost
on the
everything.
car, right.
Yeah, and then they had like a 5 by 5, and it seemed like a 10 by 10, or I can't remember if they were meters or things like that. So just something that would cover a bike or something on the trail.
And that would be the portable one at the $400.
I've seen them advertised on TV where they have them for in your kitchen.
I've seen
To
that
put
too.
out.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Did you see,
Yes.
I think it was Good Morning America, they did it? So they had a big old pan and they lit it on fire with grease.
Mhm.
And the little lady goes up there and she tries to throw it on there and it just falls off, and she throws it on there again, and she goes to do it and the fire flares up. It did not work whatsoever.
Oh,
Even
no.
the guy who was trying to sell it couldn't get it on this big pan. The
That's-
fire was kicking up and it was like a big sail, they threw it on, it was like, "Ooh." And so they were talking about fire extinguishers or,
Uh-huh.
yeah, we would need something that's durable, heavy.
So
I'm
do
not
we need
looking
a,
for something that's good.
do we need a motion to get like the 5,000 that was gonna go to bunkers to go to this instead? Just so that the public knows what's going on with their money?
We should have a motion because we're taking money out of one category and
It's
putting
still-
it into another, and we're
It's still the
spending
same
money.
First, but it's just gonna.
Still,
Yeah,
still
we're
the same
still-
category even.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not
yeah,
just
that's
bunkers,
true.
it's fire suppression, so you're still in the same category. It's just rather than using it for bunkers, you're using it for a blanket.
Correct.
And I think just to cover our ass, we should still have a motion.
That's why I
That's my
asked.
personal opinion, but that doesn't count. for
Stu, are
anything.
you
Where
there?
is better.
Where is this motion? I wanna make sure Stu's there. Stu,
You awake?
Stuart,
Yo,
okay, do you believe we should make a motion?
well, it's not gonna hurt.
Okay,
So I'll make the motion that we, allow the chief to take the earmarked money for the bunkers and pursue to get the fire blanket that she would like to request. Now, but the only question I had, is this gonna include shipping and all that, or do we need to wait and get that amount?
Well, that's what, one of the questions was, that should we just spend no more than $5,000 without coming back to the board, or how exactly do we wanna word this?
yeah, I think if we put in, if it exceeds $5,000, then we will need to come back to the board and inform them of how much more that would be.
Additional funding.
Yeah, for additional funding for this.
I would just offer one additional thought on that. That model that they were showing on the things there, they were putting that on little cars. And I think that the dimensions that you were talking about, like up to 20 feet, I don't think that that would be long enough to completely cover a regular sized pickup truck.
There you go.
And, let alone, a crew cab, 8 foot or something. So, when it gets to the shopping time, might wanna look and decide, well, do we wanna get one big enough to cover up a crew cab, or just one big enough to cover up a little car?
Okay.
Cause those were all kind of little cars, I think, weren't they? Yeah. But that's a neat looking thing. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, and Margo was saying, you need one. You need
Well, what's usually on fire up here, cars or trucks? They're mostly cars. isn't it?
Trucks.
There's been some trucks.
No, we
Pickup,
have
Trucks.
pickups
Some
attached
trucks.
to trailers.
But I think
Flatbeds.
People haven't service the transmissions correctly and so that
Most of your,
ATF explodes.
most of your crew cab, full-size pickups are 26 feet in length.
Well, the big one could cover the truck and put it on a small car, right? The smaller one's only gonna be good for the small car?
The small would be for like, e-bikes.
Oh, just
Toys.
that, that's
Right.
small, oh, that's small.
Phones.
You wanna just make something on the trails, that
Phones.
kind of
Alright,
thing,
alright.
maybe in a house, you know, maybe
So
we
there's
have
only
an
2
e-bike.
sizes?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I bet you
No, I
that
think
they'll
there
say
was more
whatever
than two
size you
sizes,
want.
but 2 sizes is all they requested, Julie.
Yeah.
And they requested the biggest one and then the portable one.
So, Stu, since you made the motion, can we change it to add, you know, like, that we will be allowed to purchase the blankets if it exceeds the amount of $5,000, then we will need to come back to the board to see if we are approved for extra funding. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so the amendment would be, to take the earmarked bunker money and use it for the purchase of the blanket at the size that you need, the larger one. And if more funds than what is in that line item are needed, you'll have to revisit the board.
So Stu, with that one, you're only specifying the larger one. They're asking for 2 different sizes. They're asking for the largest that they make and the smaller portable one. They're asking for both of those.
Which should be covered in the $5,000, yeah.
Yeah, but in his proposal, it only
Oh, it
covers the
says-
large one, so,
Okay, fire blankets.
yeah.
Can I just make it more general? You're really hamstringing me on largest and sizing and just say,
Spend up
this
to
money
5.
is now for fire blankets.
Yep.
Suppression fire blankets.
Yep.
Put an S on it, and you know what the proposal is, if I don't follow it, you can fire me.
Yeah, well, and to put the, can't go above $5,000, which
Yep.
includes freight and everything.
Right, I think that's important to put on there, yes.
For a truck, all the blanket, yeah, yep.
Okay, I missed part of that, so what part do you wanna add?
So we'll make it fire blankets as in the plural, because we hopefully can get the smaller one for e-bikes and Barbie Jeeps, and I guess I should throw in G.I. Joe tanks and stuff. And then the bigger one for vehicles, so we would like to get the 2 blankets that were displayed in the ad thing. So it would be blankets, not just a blanket. And if it exceeds the 5,000, then we need to reapproach the board.
Okay, the motion should read then, sorry, to purchase both the small and large blankets, fire blankets, excuse me.
Yeah, no, just, Stu, stop.
If,
Take out both and just put fire blankets.
No size.
No size, just fire blankets.
okay, the motion is to purchase fire blankets and use the money earmarked for the bunkers. If it exceeds that, you will reapproach the board for the amount, that you need, that's in addition to the amount that's in the bunker money.
Right.
So, to purchase, the fire blankets using, bunker money, that's earmarked for the bunker money.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? More discussion? Amendments? All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign? Motion passes, congrats.
Thank you all very much, because I think this is gonna save property and definitely our people from getting hurt. So thank you all very much for that consideration, it means a lot. Okay, sorry, Julie.
No,
Now you go back
I'm
to your
trying to
stuff.
rush and I'm sorry, it's too much Diet Pepsi possibly. So old business, verifying the
December minutes.
December 12th, 22nd, January 16th minutes. These have all been previously approved, but they weren't turned in. So I just want to be verified and stamped before they turn them in to ensure that those are indeed the correct minutes to be turned in. Because Casey and I weren't here for the 12th and the 22nd, so we can't verify that they're correct. But Stu and Karen and Pat can say, yes, these are the correct minutes. Because I dug around and had to find them, and Pat helped me with some, and I didn't know if they were the same. Stu, have you had a chance to look at them? Stu, are you there?
Yeah, I just, sorry, I pushed the mute button, or unmute. Yeah, they look the same to me, in looking at what you sent me and what I have.
Right, because you indeed wrote the 12th and the 22nd.
Right.
We had to
So
find
do you need a motion?
we had to find the financial report because it wasn't attached to the minutes that I had.
Correct.
So is that verified that that is indeed the correct financial report?
Yes.
And I have to look again. But as far as I saw it, everything was correct.
So the motion we need to make is just to get them sent down to,
Except the verification and,
Since then,
I can't stamp them because it says in the bylaws that the Secretary Stu is supposed to be stamping them, so we could make a motion to allow someone else to stamp them, or identify them some way that we know these are the ones we verified, so you don't have to go through this process again. Or table them until Stu comes back. You guys' choice of what you wanna do with this.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, if you wanna table it till I get back, that's fine. I mean, they're missing them from, back a year ago. So to miss, 2 months of this year, even though we got them, for another little over a month, I'm planning on being in town I have to be in town by May 4th. So I will be at the next meeting, but I can get those stamped and down to the, clerk's office when I come in, along with these minutes too.
So do you wanna make a motion to postpone verification or postpone turning them in? Stu?
Yeah, let's just, I'll make a motion to table it.
Is there a second?
my second.
There's no discussion on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed, Stu. Did you get who's seconded?
Thank you. Yep,
Alright,
yes.
good, we don't have to read all those. Those of you that worked ahead. So the renewal of Microsoft 365, we discussed that to a couple different minutes and, meetings, and kept trying to find if we had to buy 6 copies or 1 copy or whatever. Well, it's automatically renewed now, so that, I think this is kind of a moot point unless you want to cancel it. Does anybody have a motion?
it renewed this last month on our credit card as a subscription, and I could try to, I would have to go through the credit card now to cancel it, all the things, and get our money back. Or do we put this on our list of to do for next year before it renews?
gonna be hard to catch it before it renews
Right.
if we leave it.
So what are you guys thinking?
We have a motion to, cancel it, or a motion to try to catch it next year?
Well, didn't we approve to cancel it last meeting?
No,
No.
that was the website.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought
that
there
was the
something
website.
about
Can we
the
just-
365 too.
Okay, I know I'm not a board member, but a suggestion, can we like, okay, since it's already been, how much was it?
It was $104.99.
So can we just notify them now, we will only do this for one more year, which we've already paid for, after that cancel?
I bet we could. Can I
And then
look
that
into
way you won't
that
have
until
to-
the next meeting?
You won't have to do all that
You'll
stuff.
have to watch it like a hawk.
You won't have to watch it like a
Exactly.
hawk and you're telling them now, we're gonna
But what if I
cancel.
get on there now and talk to him about the subscription and just cancel the subscription,
The
but,
automatic renewal.
but not try to get our, yeah, the automatic renewal?
Right.
Can I look into that for 1 month? Table it, right?
So can we have a postpone this until the next
Yes.
meeting? Motion?
I motion that we postpone the subscription one more meeting so I can find out more details.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Karen seconded. Any discussion amendments? No? All in favor? Of postponing this to the next meeting?
I,
All opposed? Motion passed. The next item is snow removal bids. Sue, this is on you. Do you have a motion, Stu? Anybody?
I'm sorry.
Does anyone have a motion related to the snow removal bids?
We didn't get any, did we?
How are the snow removal bids going?
Well, I don't have access to the mailbox, so if we got any,
Nope.
via the mailbox, I don't know of. And I had one inquiry. The issue is, maybe, I don't know if it's an issue, we're requiring insurance, which I know we discussed last time when we talked about it, about allowing the volunteers that have been doing it voluntarily to go ahead and do it. But once we put that criterion, you gotta be insured, that knocked a bunch of people out because, I think, insurance is like $1,500 for the year to do that. So, I have a couple of questions on it from one vendor and I answered them and that was it. I haven't received anything else.
So is there a motion to re-advertise or any motion related to this snow removal bids?
Well, if we're going to do it again, I'd like whomever to check with our insurance company to find out, can we just have someone do it and pay them, or do they have to be insured? In other words, if they throw a rock up and break the window or whatever with a snow blower,
Stu,
does our insurance cover it? Yeah,
my big girl job, I'm an insurance agent.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna tell you right now, that will not be covered under your insurance policy. They need to be licensed, bonded, and insured with themselves. Your insurance
Okay.
company is not gonna cover that, and,
So
I
can-
kinda got a little bit of an idea about your guys' insurance, and it's like actual cash value, things like that, so it's definitely not going to cover anybody working here, third party.
But it would cover the employee,
An employee,
a volunteer, and that's what I was gonna ask, because this
Okay.
is basically our home, and if we do that at our house, I don't know if insurance would cover me throwing a rock through my house window and getting it replaced. And does it look at it like that, or is it looking at it that no, it's somebody else doing the work, even though it's our fire station, our personnel doing the work? Is it considered like my homeowners, when I'm doing it at my home, or is it considered,
Well-
because we didn't hire them, we're not paying them?
that's a great question. I mean, I know if I run my vehicle into my house, It will be covered probably by my auto insurance, you know, but,
Well, I'm looking at like your
I'm
kids are
like-
in the yard playing baseball, one goes through the window, your homeowner's insurance would cover that, cause it's your kid that it happened to.
right?
Mhm.
But if you bring in a third party,
Yeah, that's where,
that's
I
where
think
the
that gets
issue's
a little
coming in,
muddled.
right, okay.
For me, I can most definitely look at the policy myself and try to figure it out right in the policy for you guys, that actual wording. If you would like.
Well, the book's in here.
Yes.
You know what, Casey,
Yes,
if you could look into it, I
Mhm.
think that'd be great. And since we're getting into the budget process, maybe we can add that to administrative costs for the coming year. It's probably gonna be too late for this year anyway.
okay, I will most definitely, the policy's in the office, so I'm gonna take that with me tonight and start looking at it.
It's not
All
gonna
right,
snow
thank
anymore
you.
this year anyway.
Oh, right, don't say that, you just
They
drowned
just
us.
screwed us.
So what do we wanna do with that? Do we wanna,
It's still-
postpone it until Casey looks into it,
Do
until
we-
the next meeting, or?
Do we keep advertising the way we're advertising just for now, or?
I don't know, we need a
I don't know
motion.
what to do.
So how was Dick Brehm covered when he was blowing snow? Cause I'm sure he wasn't insured.
He wasn't.
He wasn't.
Well,
Right, doesn't it?
my guess would be that, whatever our casualty insurance is on the premises here, if something was damaged in the course of doing something, that it would be covered. For instance, if if you got your snow blower, or your snow plow too close to the building, tore a hole in the building, my guess would be that would be covered under whatever casualty we've got. I would wanna check on that. But
Yeah,
the
Casey
real
said it's
question-
not.
The
It's-
bigger
Party,
question,
uh-uh.
the bigger question then becomes, if somebody gets hurt in that.
That's a whole nother monster.
Yep.
Yeah, 'cause that's always that's
Yeah.
always the elephant in the corner. But,
I mean, I don't know, I have to look at it. It's pretty much subcontractors, but if you're having actual people from the department doing it and you wanna pay them directly and things like that, I mean, that's what we need to look at, is if someone working for the department would be covered.
well. but
I'm
see,
telling you
all-
right now, any subcontractor is not gonna be covered on the insurance policy.
All of our volunteers are, quote, employees.
Okay.
For most purposes, they're not paid, but they, and they, be on workman's comp and that kind of stuff.
Right,
For our people that come and volunteer to do this, to
right,
do things. But, the question becomes, if they crash into the building, do some damage to the building.
That's what I'm saying, I don't think-
That's what you wanna check on. Like, I think that would be covered under general casualty.
and I,
But if you're worried about it, I'd ask about it before don't trust me, 'cause what I tell you is worth exactly what you think.
Give Casey a month, let her investigate.
yeah, give me a month, and we already have the one advertisement out there, do we just leave that advertisement up and give me a month to look at the
Yep.
policy?
Yep.
Well,
Okay.
you'd have to extend that advertisement, wasn't it? We wanted bids by a certain date.
Oh, that's
By
right.
this meeting.
Well, you don't have any bids,
We have
Yeah.
one.
so
We had one inquiry.
inquiry, but it's
Inquiry,
not a
no
bid,
bid, right.
no bid, so basically, you'd have to resubmit it out there, so why don't you let Casey investigate it for a month, and then, once you've got
Do
the
a better-
information, then you can put it out there for bid again.
Yeah. Okay,
So a motion to postpone
Yes.
till the
Yes.
next meeting. Will somebody make that?
I motion to postpone to the next meeting.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Karen seconds. Any discussion, amendments? All in favor?
I,
All opposed? Same sign?
Aye.
Stu's opposed?
No, he said he's
She's-
for,
he was for.
he's on time delay.
Oh.
Sorry, I voted to postpone.
part.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Oh my goodness. Mailbox fees.
We have been replaced. The lock's been changed. And we have new keys.
Is there a motion related to the mailbox keys? Who gets them? Who does that? Anything? We're changing that. They've been replaced. We're done.
Right now, I
We don't need to
have,
discuss.
I can't have them, the treasurer
Right.
can't have them, so.
So,
Anybody on the account can't.
Yeah.
Right,
So-
okay, sorry.
so
Anyone
you
on
two,
the-
and we talked about that before.
Well,
Yeah,
Karen
so-
currently has both of them, cause I picked them up and gave them both to her,
Okay.
but
Alright, so we don't need to talk about that. New business. Installation of security cameras, electrician, labor will be donated, supplies may be 500. Is there a motion related to the installation of the cameras? They're up and working now, they're just not mounted, right?
Correct. And we need to move the plugs. Stu, do you want me to talk about this since I've been talking to the electrical companies?
Yeah, I was gonna refer to you anyway, since you've been talking with them. You got the details, I know.
Okay, so right now, instead of using these outlets, you know, I'm just plugging them in wherever, they'd be mounted where they should be. Would need to, you know, we're gonna need to get the stuff from, to go up in the attic and come down up and tie into the fuse box back there. And then they'll come out up here and the outlets will, just for those, will be straight up there. But they will donate, the master electrician is donating his time, and that's between 150 and 180, depends on how nasty it is in the attic, to decide the 50 more an hour. So they will donate their 150 plus an hour fee. They're paying for the, we have to get a permit, whatever.
Permit, yeah,
So they would be covering the permit. But
Inspection.
Yep,
as well.
right, because the master's doing it, it's being done under his license, by God, it's gonna be done right. So all of that will be donated, but they've said that the parts to do it and the extra wiring and everything would be around $500.
For 6 cameras?
Where are you gonna put the camera?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
There's 6 cameras,
Secret location.
and they're going in this building.
Cause there's one
So
there.
it's not like just one,
No, everything in this building is covered, coming and going.
And they have night vision.
But you have to look at the conduit that it's gonna take to run up from the fuse,
So-
tie into there.
So he's
and then
sort
go
of
over
giving you
here
an
and-
estimate until he looks up in the attic and says, ugh. Yeah.
No, I just need the money for the parts.
Oh, okay.
Everything else is free from the master electrician guy, including his permit, the inspections, all that stuff. They're covering that.
So we're just paying for the wiring.
We're paying for the wiring, the
Materials.
conduit, and the new plug boxes or whatever they're called, cause I don't do electrical. But the
Materials.
little box thingy like that, that would go up there to where the cameras would be mounted.
And he's volunteering labor.
Correct. Which
Awesome.
is usually 130 to 150 an hour.
Right,
That's nice.
that's rad.
That's
Or
nice.
50, 180, it's astronomical, I should have been an electrician.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right.
By the time they do drive time and all that too, it gets really
Right.
pricey fast.
And it would probably be a 2-person job, so
What company are you talking to?
Modern Electric is who has said they would donate everything except for parts. And I didn't even think about a permit thing, after my nightmare summary we thought should have, but, yeah, so we just need $500 for the parts and pieces to get those mounted to be approved.
So do we wanna make a motion that says not more than 500, or, because you have an itemized list of what he wants, does he know
No.
it's exactly 500?
No, he said it'll probably be around, he said 500 should cover it. So I said, so if I ask the board for no more than 500, are we good? And he said, yep, should be. I said, if not, I need to know. So,
Well, we have $1,000 in station repairs in our budget.
So
We haven't spent.
And we haven't spent any?
So you don't even need to ask
Miss
for it.
Lisa, do you know?
No,
of
we haven't done
Have
anything,
we used
uh-uh.
anything? Okay.
Really?
Do we need to make a motion then, or?
Yeah, cause it's the public's money, so we need a money
Okay.
to approve going out and
Yeah,
doing
that's
this
what
and for what
spending
it's
it
for.
on.
And that was for office, how did you word that?
Installation of security
Or
cameras.
if we've got 1,000 for upkeep or whatever, maintenance on the building a year in the budget, then
So it's
we
station-
don't need a motion, we can just do it.
Station repairs.
Mhm.
Okay.
I make a motion to use money set aside for station repairs for the cameras to be installed.
Is there a second?
Set aside like the station repair money.
Stu, did you hear that motion?
Motion for the maintenance fund to be worded?
Station repair fund.
So the doors.
Hey, station repair fund, thank you.
Station repairs.
Wait,
Hang on a minute, I just thought of something.
Yeah, cause we already had those, didn't we?
Yeah.
I thought that was
just
under the
asking that
insurance
the-
claim.
The new
Unless we
door
take
and
it
the
out.
locks didn't come out of that.
Take it out of administration. Police station, just looking to see.
Isn't the insurance gonna cover any of that?
Still worked on it. Did you get the email?
Yeah. But I didn't know if they
The
were
other
covered.
one,
I don't know why we need to worry about that damn sign, it's steel, it's not gonna go anywhere, it has a bend in it, but anyway.
well, that's out there. Okay.
Yeah, cause we're not getting much from the insurance company, once we turn in all of our receipts, and what we've spent.
Yeah. So, don't take it out of station repairs, cause we already did that.
We've spent that $1,000 then.
Okay. And then some.
Cause we have 1,000 in registration.
And if the copier needs new toner, then that's $500 in that.
I thought that was under office supplies, it's where I put it anyway.
Cause office supplies. Looks like we've spent part of that. We'll almost have to run that, profit and loss reports and see where we're at right now. Cause these are old
Okay.
amounts.
So then don't go buy it yet?
I was looking to see where else we're gonna take it from.
Not that it's training materials, but are you gonna use the $500 in training materials?
Lisa?
Mhm. All the training and stuff should come with the blankets, right? Will we have to spend anything on that?
I would think that fire school, there's EV classes and things like
Right.
that. for Fire school and things like that.
But for like ordering anything for them to pass out to the people and stuff from the companies, we should be good.
Yeah, they should come with that.
Then and what is that 500 under?
Training
Why,
materials.
you should just take it out of maintenance, make it a negative amount so that
Well,
next year
shit.
you understand that you overspent that category, but you still
We
have
still have
money.
money,
Mhm.
So
but it's gonna.
what that
still
does
for Peter
is
to pay Paul.
if you keep stealing out of others, when you go do your next budget, you don't have an accurate amount of what you're doing, so.
I agree.
Just up your maintenance by $500 and do it.
Yeah, it's all out of the same pot, it's just the different categories that we have to show that we're spending money out of.
And some negatives should show a good budget, it's like, yep,
Mhm.
a little more here.
Stuff happens, yeah.
Well,
So-
buying the parts to install those cameras, if I understand that that's what we're still talking about, that should be a one-time expense. So you shouldn't have to buy parts to reinstall the cameras next year and the year after and the year after,
Yeah.
so. But, you know, what I would suggest is just that you make a motion that, unbudgeted, fund be paid if you do it. And that, it's a good idea.
Well, we need to have them done, so.
Yeah.
So you guys are deciding where it's gonna be taken for to make a motion, or what do we do?
No,
Just-
Then
Should
we
I
do a
just-
motion to say to spend unbudgeted money, or motion to set aside station repair money, so.
I'll have that.
Take that
Up
out.
that category.
Made a motion to approve electrician for,
Well, to approve a one-time expenditure of up to, you know, and just to make it safe, I'd say $700. For that.
To install cameras.
Yeah. Who would like to make that motion?
I'm gonna mess it up now that it's been said 3 or 4 different times. I'm making a motion that we, I don't know,
Spend-
how do you want me to word that? I don't wanna mess
You
it
make
up.
a motion to approve expenditure
Are
up
you amending
to,
your motion?
yes.
Yes. I don't, sorry. I
You don't have to.
Okay.
I'm not forcing anybody to make a motion. Stu, would you like to make a motion? Anybody? I'm just
Well, there's already a
directing you.
motion on the floor.
It's been withdrawn.
Yeah, I withdraw mine.
Okay,
I wanna word it correctly. So I'm removing mine.
okay.
Okay, I'm making a motion to approve expenditure up to $500 to mount the security cameras.
Good job. Is there a second?
There's 6 cameras,
Carol has.
and I don't
4
screw
security
around.
cameras.
You're on it, you're not supposed to be in here, you're going to jail.
No second to your motion?
Does
I
someone
didn't hear.
second me?
I'll
Nope.
second her.
Who was that? I'm sorry?
Pat.
Pat seconded. Any discussion, amendments? No discussion or amendments, all in favor, please say aye.
Alright.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Seven.
six B.
Yeah,
Yeah,
B.
6B.
6,
Discussion on the state fire reporting system, emergency response. Who does the reports, what information is gleaned, accessed by chief and assistant chief, etc. Stu added that in.
I think we need to withdraw that and, or table it, because we got a report from Lisa that emergency reporting is going away and they don't know what they're gonna use yet, so it's kind of a moot issue now.
We're gonna keep using emergency reporting till we know what's decided, but I can tell you right now, the state's really, they're busting their tail on it. I'm actually surprised at how fast they're moving.
Stu, are you making a motion to table that? Stu, can you hear me?
Yes, we're gonna, I would like to make a motion to table that.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
No discussion on the table, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
All opposed, same sign? Motion passed, Stu.
That was
This is like pulling hair tonight.
I was gonna say teeth, but okay.
C. Gail Filkins reimbursement funds, wanting her donations to go for PPE for firefighters. Stu added that in. Can I have a motion related to that?
I thought she paid for the copies. I thought that was what,
No, she's talking about the $900 that Gail said she was gonna reimburse us for the attorney fees.
okay.
Now she's reneging that and wants us to use that for PPEs, it sounds like.
I didn't talk with her. Stu talked with her, spoke with her.
So,
Yeah, she had made a comment that she wanted the reimbursement, she wanted to reimburse the attorney's fees, but she wanted that to go to PPE.
I mean,
So,
PPEs do we need?
in my discussion with her, if, you know, we need to make a motion, if we get any money from her, that should go to PPE. My other suggestion to her was to donate to the Casper Mountain Wildfire Firefighters.
He got that wrong, right?
Instead.
Did he get that wrong?
Did I get it wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I figure you have it written down, so I'm good.
So, I would push to, or make the motion to table that until we receive any funds. And then at that time, we can make a decision, what it needs to be focused on.
Is there a second on the table?
I second that.
No discussion on a motion to table. All in favor, say aye. I just heard one,
Aye.
3. All opposed, same sign? Motion passed, motion carried. D, credit card from Jonah Bank. Who needs one? Who's allowed to have one? So this drama I created, I went down to change the signatures on the, who signs on the checks and who has a credit card, and didn't realize that the fire department had credit cards. So I wasn't being malicious. I said, oh, we only need one. Well, oops, you guys had about 6. So Casey straightened out my mess. She didn't say all 6 of them. She just said, okay. And I thought I was doing a good job, but
So have they been canceled then?
Yes, but we can get them right up and going if me and her sign this paper together in front of all you guys right now.
Yeah, so I'm going.
And my letter says it's to Cheryl Markworth, Our Lady, down at Jonah Bank. I just put, Dear Cheryl, the board is asking that you halt cancellations on credit cards labeled as 1 through 4, and then the fire chief one and the assistant fire chief one. Please reactivate them as previously. It was misunderstood by new board members why we would need them. Thank you. Julie Bradley, Casey Klein, and then maybe an active standing board member.
And that will be enough?
she already talked to her.
Yes.
7.
Okay.
Yes,
Seven.
So I
so
missed that, I was writing.
that one's still in force. Mine is still in force. She kept mine in force.
No, that was good of you.
Yeah, so we at least
I
have one.
didn't,
card.
hey, I went to the right bank. She went to the wrong bank.
Right? The bank has been awesome
Okay.
with us and cut. So I would like to motion that me and Julie Bradley sign this so we can get the cards reactivated. That way we don't have to get new ones, nothing like that. They will immediately reactivate it.
See, we could have been sneaky and not told you guys.
But
We never would have
no,
known.
we're not doing
Well, you
it.
better get a
We're not doing
second,
any of that.
you better get a second on that motion of hers before you.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
I second that motion.
There we
Karen,
go.
second. Any discussion? Yes, sir.
I'm just wondering if, for some reason, a fire department member needs to go to a specialized training. I know I went to a CAVS training in Denver. You know, you have to pay for your room, you have to pay for fuel, you have to do those type of things. When you go out on wildland fires, you can have a credit card with you to pay for fuel, other expenses. You need to have
do.
We
So
do.
we have 4 cards, numbered 1 through 4.
Okay, you didn't say, you just said the chief and the assistant chief, so.
That's what I whispered in your ear. Could you?
Labeled as number 1 through 4, and then fire chief and the assistant fire chief.
So
And
that's
then-
6.
And then
So
there's
there's-
hers, which
There's
wasn't
I thought there were 2 for the
deactivated.
department, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So-
There's 4 for the department, 1 for the fire chief, 1 for the assistant fire chief, and 1 for the treasurer.
It's been clarified, thank you.
Okay, sorry.
No,
I don't want any.
Cause that's what I said, I'm like, no, if somebody goes out of town or whatever, so.
Yes, we definitely have
I
some
thought
for you
you
guys.
had your
and
budget and
I
then
have them.
I didn't even know you had cards, so I'm not gonna go there.
Yeah, that's okay, it's straightened out.
You should have been able to cancel them anyway. It should have taken all 3 of you to cancel them.
Correct.
I don't think.
Well, I just went down there by
Yeah.
myself and didn't have a clue, so.
Maybe we
It
don't.
should have taken all 3 of you to cancel
Hmm?
them. It should have taken all 3 of you to cancel them.
No, it didn't.
That's terrifying. Okay, you need to vote.
Oh, so we went through, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little lost.
So we are done with that.
No, you guys need to vote on
We
it.
had a motion, we had a vote,
Casey made the motion, Karen seconded it, now we need to vote.
Okay,
because we had discussion, any more discussion? No. All in favor, say aye.
aye.
All opposed, same sign?
Remember, he's
That
on,
lag.
that's how things are in Atlanta, slower. Now,
Okay.
where are we? Alabama,
Motion passed.
one of the inbred town states.
Discussion on grant requirements for the board department to be registered as 501c3 nonprofit. I did a little research on this and it looks, not quite sure if we need to be 501c3 or 501c4. I'm not an accountant, but what I saw on IRS site when I searched volunteer fire department, it said 501c4. So, Stu mentioned that he was gonna talk to his accountant and see what's going on. So, do we need a motion to table this until we get more information, or what kind of motion do you want, or do you even want a motion?
I'm unsure.
I'd like to make a motion to table it until we get more information.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Casey seconded, no discussion on a table, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign? Motion passed, Stu.
Thank you.
Public comments, finally.
I have to-
At this time, we welcome and appreciate public comments. Please state your name so Stu can get it in the minutes. And we're trying to limit crosstalk so that he can actually hear what people would like to comment on. Anybody?
Well, go ahead, man.
No, please.
Well, my first question was,
Could I,
this
could
is
I
John
ask that the
Farrell.
computer be pointed at the person who's speaking here,
Yeah,
because it
yeah.
seems to pick up a lot better when it's pointed at the person that's speaking.
This is John Farrell, Stu.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, John.
my first question was on emergency reporting. I do the reporting and that's been answered. We'll continue till a different program has been selected. That's correct, Lisa?
What? I'm sorry. What did you,
My question is on emergency reporting, we'll continue to do that till another program is selected.
yes,
Okay.
yep.
And then my next question is, back a couple of years ago, when I was doing wildfire mitigation, we had to close it down. I talked to the board. I had 2 old computers that they thought they could use at the time, but I don't believe they're being used. And was just wondering what the status of those old two computers are.
I didn't know anything about them.
We aren't
Anybody
using
else
them.
Is anyone using those computers?
They're sitting in the office.
They're in the office?
Yep.
They were.
They're not being used?
No.
Would you like them back, or,
Well, my grandson would like one.
that's good for a kid.
Okay.
Anybody opposed to that?
I don't mean to be super picky about things, but, and so Stu, don't write this down. But, well, no, I can't tell you
No,
that.
no,
But, you know, the problem is that with, if those are owned by a governmental entity, you know, unless they're declared lost, they have to go through the state surplus warehouse and all that.
Oh, thank you. And
But,
probably wiped clean if there's anything on them and all that, yeah.
But if they're lost, then that's a different story.
I haven't seen them.
Well, I didn't purchase them when I was doing wildfire mitigation, but I'm pretty sure Sam purchased them with funds from the wildfire mitigation.
Well, were they ever listed on a state property inventory or anything that you know of, John?
No,
No, then I would suspicion that they're not state property.
no, there's not state property.
Never mind what I said. Now you can not write that down.
Now they're lost, cause they never existed.
Yeah. Mhm.
Have they ever been used? Do you know? Does anyone know?
Not here.
Not here.
No.
I'm just littering.
You don't have anything set up, there was no internet until just recently, there was no, you know, the reports and stuff.
But I would say between the one there, and if we used one, and that little lappy toppy one there that's part of here, we don't need four. I would say John's grandson should be able to have one. Besides, he donated his clothes to Pat one night on a fire. Do you remember that, Pat? This young, what was he, 14?
Ripped it off his nephew.
And like 7, it was his, yeah, his grandson, wasn't it? Your grandson that, he came up here to respond, and I said, it was cold, and Pat responded in a short sleeve shirt, and I said,
Well, no, I responded in a foo-foo shirt because
Oh,
I had
yeah.
equipment here and my stuff was missing. And
Yeah.
so, John's grandson,
so I asked.
his shirt off his back.
I asked his grandson to take his shirt off and give it to Pat, and by God, he didn't hesitate, young man, he was like, yep, here you go.
So the short answer, I think everyone agrees, is absolutely you can have those back.
Thank you. Thank you. You wear a poo-poo shirt, Pat?
Sir?
Every
Yes,
now and then.
Comment question for the board, if, we are getting ready to fill the frac tanks up, I go out there, there's winter damage, the valve, I go to move it, it cracks the valve. My question is, do we have to come to the board to get approved for money to replace things like that, such as this example, a valve on the frac tank? Or can the chief go ahead and just approve that purchase and we can get on with our duties of the fire department?
Does the chief have money allocated in her budget somewhere for things like that?
I don't know, I guess that's my question, that's a great question.
Yes. Yeah, it would, yeah,
Hmm.
for maintenance and vehicle maintenance and all that stuff.
So you don't need a board approval for specific, or do you?
Well, you shouldn't, but it always has been.
Just buy it. As long as there's money there. And it's been approved.
In my opinion, if the money, and tell me if I'm wrong, guys, because I have been before, if the money is already there and allocated for that specific thing, it's been approved, in my opinion.
Like,
Am I wrong?
yeah, so vehicle maintenance was already budgeted in, requested 7,000, approved 7,000, and so she has the year and so up to $7,000 to use for vehicle maintenance.
Perfect, thank you, appreciate that.
Right?
Well, that's the way it should be.
Yep. Perfect.
Lee,
So,
Casey,
she
you
can't
have to
go
say
over her
something or
budget.
it just won't be right.
I don't need the doghouse for being late for dinner
Oh,
tonight.
I'm sorry.
My brother's home cooking, but that's all right. That's
We'll all
covered.
go home with you after the meeting,
Yeah.
hurry up.
Homemade chicken noodle soup.
Okay, well, hurry up, we're going to your house for dinner.
Brad, excellent presentation on it, and Mike, you picked up on that, is you're gonna buy one big enough to take care of the pickup truck, even if you have to come back again. That'd be my recommendation, because of the amount of four-wheel drives that come up and down the mountain. top and from the looky-loos and everything else, but my primary reason for coming tonight is, I feel like I have a civic obligation here to point out that we have got a monster in the making with this biathlon event that's coming up. And I've been tracking that very, very closely on it, but they're up to over 250 entrants now from all over the country. I can't remember how many states are represented, but even one province of Canada, Ontario, they've got a couple of people coming in.
When does that start, Tracy?
On it, March
7th, isn't it?
23rd, 24th, and 25th, right? Or would it be 26th? Where's our calendar?
The
It's right
20,
behind you.
no, it starts on the 22nd is the start of their, practice and stuff. They're actually, the 23rd is when they actually start holding part of their meets, and that'll go through the 26th.
And I
They've been-
just, my own gut feeling here, and I'm not, don't wanna spell out doomsday, but I think it's a wreck in the making on it. They've included some people in the pre-planning, but one of the main affected folks is gonna be the people in the neighborhood, particularly getting access down the East End Road if they have another bottleneck like they had back when they had, what was the name of the light
There's
group?
light,
They had
there's sight impaired
We had
kids.
2 buses hung up coming up by the gravel quarry, making the first corner on them, but out of the 250 entrants, they were looking for 480 volunteers. I about died when I saw that list, and I've got them recapped on a couple of the pin posts on the Casper Mountain Landowners Association, so, and I've tried to keep those somewhat updated on them, but out of those 480 positions, they were wanting to find volunteers. I thought they were gonna fall out of the woodwork. They've only filled about 70 of them.
I'm surprised they filled that many.
I am too, I'm really, and there must be some friction between the Nordic group, and I'm not trying to start that, but they aren't falling out of the woodwork to go, to help Mr. Rozier pull this off, but, I mean, this is a hell of an event. I mean, we're talking national, and when you're talking 250 people.
Where are they gonna park?
From, you know, and they never even called in the fire department for any part of the pre-plan, so I did get a hold of Dave North. This is one of these off-the-record things I don't want anywhere in the minutes, but I said, you better make provisions to make sure you keep Crimson Dawn open as a secondary emergency road for law enforcement particularly, and for first responders, for the fire department to get out on the East End if there is another issue over the, and I think that should probably be a controlled access that weekend. I'm not advocating that, but I don't know where the staff has to come from, probably from the sheriff's department. I don't wanna have to see you directing traffic. Have you been included in any?
We already be up here, the emergency management has been included in all of that, they've been working with it.
That's good.
So the parking area at the biathlon is going to be for the participants. It's going to be for emergency responders. They're actually having Mills ambulance up here, I believe, for doing the medical for the event. And the sheriff's office will be here, and they'll have tents and stuff set up there in that area. All the spectator parking and all that will be the upper parking lot by the gravel pile, and overflow will go into Bear Trap. They're gonna have buses shuttling from those parking areas to the biathlon center. Those buses must have chains on them in order to be allowed to be able to be used. There will not be any parking along East End Road. They've got emergency evacuation set up for over by fire marker 6 if there's any injuries or anything for life flight. It's actually been they've been taking and doing a lot. I know that today there was a meeting, and I'm not sure to what extent all the new information is going to be on that, but it is getting taken care of.
I just wanna see them get it pulled off with, you know, making sure all the i's have been dotted.
The 250 is I would ask where you got that number, because that was gonna be,
It's coming right off the registration numbers, and I'll be glad to go through this stuff with you tomorrow.
cause they were estimating that there'd be up to 250 participants, and with that and all the,
They have two really excellent, they're tied into somebody that's got a couple of web pages put together that really are good on it, and I just happened to run across them accidentally. But I popped in there and it gives the names of the participants, it gives the towns where they're from on it, and it shows every activity that they're pulled into. Out of the 250, roughly, some of them compete in more than one event, so you do have some duplications, but this thing can come off pretty successfully, and I'm pleased to hear that you've been in the loop, Dave, so that makes me feel a hell of a lot better. There's 17 coaches as of this afternoon that are over and above the 250 participants. And then there is a list of the volunteers too, and there's some, they just give the first name and last initial, but you can figure out who some of them are pretty quickly.
a lot of that is the participants actually do the volunteering, and that's everything from course marshal to parking attendants to
That makes me feel
everything. And last year when we went to junior nationals, that was about the same size. It'd be something that's gonna be very easily handled.
Good, that's good
Dave,
to hear.
will access to Fire Marker 6 be allowed?
So for the ambulance,
Didn't somebody get stuck up there just recently?
yeah, they did, and that should be out of there by now. What it would be is that they would take them by ground ambulance from wherever to the parking area right there by Fire Marker 6, and the helicopter would land just on the other side of that for emergency
The school buses are coming from the airport, right?
They are not school buses, they are the transportation buses from the airport is what I've been told. But they are supposed to have chains on them, and they were waiting to find out, and I don't know if they've got that information yet, of whether they were just the drop-down chains that would
What's this,
engage, or if they were actual tire chains
are they
installed.
a short bus then?
My understanding is that they're the shorter buses, not the big, long school buses.
School buses, okay.
I hate to cut in, but it does say crosstalk here on the agenda. Do you have something for the board that you need to approve,
Well, I
or
think
just
it's,
information, because
I
I
think
gotta go
it's,
too, so.
well, as the sizable landowner within the district, Brian, on it, and if we end up with a real cluster over there,
I'd say that's something for the fire.
That's
department to
that's for the fire
You know,
department.
I don't know if
And
this
the
is
board,
board
I
policy.
wanted to let the board know what was going on.
Good.
On them, so, and I'm done with that, so I'd like to be proactive rather than reactive, and I hope like if they pull off a good show. I mean, it's a good thing for if you've got over 250 participants coming from out of town, they're spending money, and hopefully we'll see some of that come back to the district.
Some t-shirts.
Okay. With that, I'm going home to dinner.
One last
Anyone
thing
else?
is, I would like to thank the new members of the board for stepping up and filling the spots.
Thank you.
That was me, Stu.
I think you can see it, don't you?
Thank you, sir.
Did you ever watch Pharaoh?
Anyone else? Board comments? I have one. Alright. I have a letter of resignation here. It's with regret that I tender my resignation from the Casper Mountain Fire District Board of Directors effective immediately. I've decided I'm not a good fit for this board. I'm grateful for being selected by our community to join the board and offer my best wishes for its future success. I ran for this position in order to offer my knowledge and experience with writing grants and securing funding for our firefighters and the department. Chief Evers has begun writing grants, and she's putting in a great deal of work and effort to write grants for the firefighters. I became aware of the rumors and accusations related to past financial transactions while being encouraged to run for the board position. I didn't feel then there was any intentional mishandling of the department's funds, and with my limited time on the board, I still support the honesty and integrity of current and past board members. Thank you for all the people who support the new and veteran board members. They are doing their best without the luxury of having an attorney, office assistants, accountants, and other support staff guiding them and helping them. They do the jobs of many support staff and other boards are fortunate to have, in addition to serving on the board without compensation. So my reasoning for resignation is, I believe any adult who allows someone to harass, try to intimidate, bully, and sabotage their efforts, and doesn't remove themselves from the situation, has little self-worth, and I know my worth. I have been harassed with a camera in my face, asked not to have that. I realize this is a public forum, and I realize that I'm supposed to be a public figure. One of the reasons I chose to be on this board was because there wasn't any filming. My qualifications, my 2 masters and PhD are in education, and I'd have been a better fit for the school board. Didn't want to be filmed for safety reasons. Conveyed my concerns to protect and to serve here, and still have had a camera in my face, threatening to post it on YouTube. Candidly, and you can put this in the minutes if you want, I have an ex-husband that I have a restraining order on until I'm 92 years old. He's violent. I changed states. I live on the mountain for my safety. I don't want to sleep with one eye open. There's been a lot of sabotage and roadblocks thrown in my way as I've tried to find my way in this board, and it's just not a good fit for me. I'm used to working with collaborative, supportive groups of people, not someone who assumes I'm a criminal, and I've been told that that camera is there to make sure the board doesn't do anything wrong. And I'm guilty until proven innocent, and I don't like that. So that's my resignation. And I apologize for my short-lived efforts, but there I am. Thanks for coming tonight, and I've enjoyed my short time.
Well, as a landowner and also.
I enjoyed working with you.
A mountain fire,
Very little.
I hate to see you go.
Me too.
Thank you, and I have high hopes, but
Me too.
I can't sleep with one eye open, and I don't want to move off the mountain. So,
Julie,
sir.
I don't, according to the current bylaws, there's no, person or there's no method to, I'm trying to think how to say this. There's no person that automatically takes over the board presidency. There's nothing in the bylaws that I could find where the treasurer takes over, where the secretary takes over. Doesn't say any of that. The only thing I can find is, I know in Robert's rules, you might have to make a president pro tem. And, I know in state statute, upon your resignation, we have 45 days to find a replacement, and, or the bylaws say 45 days. It doesn't specifically say in state statute how long, but if we don't pick one, then the county commissioners are to be notified, and then they pick a replacement for the position on the board. And at that time, once it's filled, then we can vote again for a president.
Well, I gotta tell you, I gotta have a 2-party check within, I bet you we're gonna have bills coming in right around the 1st again, 20 days away from now. So I need someone else signing checks with me that's on the account.
Stu, you're the third signer, and since you're in Alabama and won't be here in time, maybe we only have 2 signers. I don't know if she's gonna have to FedEx you the stuff to sign, or what's gonna go on. Or the bills are all gonna be a month late. So Casey informed me that there were 3 bills that, and you guys can let me know if I'm wrong, that were, didn't have to be approved before they were paid because they were automatic. Can she pay those online and not have a second
What
signer?
the deal is for the utility bills, that we don't get charged penalties and interest, and this is what the state recommends, is that we have a policy in play and we've specified what those are that can be paid, but they have to be brought to the next board meeting and approved at that next board meeting. It's still, I think what Casey is saying, we need 2 signatures on those checks, and we will not have 2 signatures on the checks.
Mhm.
And that's the problem.
I also need my,
All the
co-op
bills will
doors
be
as soon
late.
as you can do that.
I mean,
I can have do
yeah.
yeah.
Did you hear all that, Stu?
No, I did not.
Okay, did you hear what I had to say about the checks?
Yes, I heard that.
Do you have any discussion
2
on this?
signatures.
Yes. Do you have any discussion on this?
I'm trying to look at the bylaws to see if we can assign somebody else to also be a signator, or whether it has to be an officer. I
Well-
don't think it has to be an officer.
I don't think it has to be an
someone
officer,
on
but
the
it still
account.
has to be put in the minutes and the minutes approved and then go down to the bank.
And
So-
someone has to be on the account, you know, they can't sign for a checking
No,
account,
no,
they're not
no,
on.
no, 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 no. What I'm saying is, we might have to assign somebody tonight. Well, even if we do it tonight, then it's not gonna be approved until next month meeting.
Unless you had a special meeting to approve like we did last time, to approve the signatures changing over from the bank.
Correct.
And I'm wondering if, I mean, we had the special meeting to select that, but then those special meetings, minutes had to be approved at the regular meeting, so I think,
Oh, right,
We're still too far out
yeah,
by approving someone.
There have been other motions approved in the past to allow the treasurer to make the payments on the bills, the monthly bills. And it was never, there's nothing in any place that says you have to pay that by check.
that's not what we're saying. We're saying any type of payment should have 2 signatures on it.
It doesn't.
And then why does the state say we have to have 2 signatures on the checking
The state-
account?
The state does
And-
not say that you have to. The state says that you should. Jonah Bank will accept a check with only 1 signature on it. And if anybody that uses a credit card is 1 signature.
That's why I was like, can't you just
So
pay it with
if
a
she
credit
pays it
card,
with credit
Casey?
card and there's documentation and record of it, there shouldn't be a problem with it.
pay with credit card.
I'm sure I'm absolutely capable of doing that, but I don't wanna do this by myself. I'm
I
a little
get that.
nervous about
Yeah, I
just
get
paying
that
some bills
100%,
without
yeah.
everybody's,
I get that.
sorry.
No, I do, I understand.
So if
But
you
that's
just
why-
approve a motion for Casey to pay the bills by credit card for the next 2 months until Stu's back, and then you can square this all away, that's as simple as what it needs to be.
If Casey is comfortable
She's
with
just
that though,
saying
cause
she
I don't
wants-
want Casey
She
to be
wants the
uncomfortable
bills
with this.
approved even though before she
Like,
pays
I'd
with
still
credit
like
card.
a signature or something, someone knowing everything that I'm actually doing. I don't know.
Well, we're still gonna have to approve the
We
bills.
still have to approve the meetings and everything else. So, I don't know.
I guess next month we could, if we need to, we could put them on the credit cards.
Sue, any input?
Well, I'm still looking, and I guess I mean, if we have to, and
pay.
Okay, Casey, what about this? If you pay by credit card,
Mm-hmm,
but you send us all an email,
mm-hmm.
cause it'd be
Can I
five.
send, like, can
That
I
would be
see
5 of us
everybody
now.
the
Wait,
receipts?
wait. I think that what Stu just suggested there is probably the
The
easiest.
FedEx.
thing to do.
Okay.
Because if people are worrying that, you know, Casey, I understand what
I-
you're
yeah, I
saying
do too.
about
Yeah.
not wanting to do this alone,
Yeah,
for a lot of reasons. But you get the bill, you know, you get the checks, you get all that stuff, stick them into a FedEx.
I'll get them all ready, I'll do
Right,
my
it's-
signature,
yeah.
but, I mean, we still, on our vouchers, we still need 3 more signatures of board members, so,
Well, those
That's-
will do at the meeting anyway.
we do at the meeting anyways, what about, okay. So, and pretty much the utilities are always pre-approved, so, but if we get a bill for like the installation on that or anything like that.
That'll be on the
next
credit
month,
card, so.
Oh, it will be, okay,
Yeah.
never mind, sorry.
And
I'm over
Casey,
it.
you can ask Karen if, whenever I used a credit card for anything, I'll text you now. And
Yes.
say, hey, Dutro takes pictures and sends it, so we make you fully aware, even though you already know, it's like, hey, I just did da-da-da-da.
Right, cause, well, we need to do the PO
Purchase
and a
orders, yep, yep.
receipt as well.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I think that would work.
But I just let you know anyway, just kindness.
Okay, Stu, that's what I'm
So-
doing. I'm gonna FedEx stuff to you, okay?
Okay, and Casey, I'll get with you, or I'll email you my, mailing address.
Perfect.
We're getting ready to change addresses here in another few days. You gonna have
Okay.
anything this week, you think?
No, these bills are done. We won't have anything for probably about 2 weeks.
Okay, then we only should have a few, and I'll get you that address where I'll be at starting, a little less than a week.
Okay.
And then after that, I should be home for the meeting after that. So, yeah, we'll
Perfect.
get you that address.
Perfect.
anything else, Doug?
Anything else?
Well, I'm unhappy that this kind of stuff is still happening and we're losing a board member again.
I'd like to, are you done, Pat?
Go ahead.
When bullies are allowed to go unchecked, and when bullies bully, exactly what you're seeing that lady there, the fears that she is legitimately having is what happens. I hope you sleep really well tonight, Dave, knowing that you have successfully bullied someone off of this board.
I have never been a bully. Everything that I've done, you as a past judge should understand and appreciate that falls under the First Amendment. And I'm sorry if you felt that, at no time have I put it out there. At no time has it ever been that somebody else has seen these videos.
Where are you taking?
It's,
So I heard from someone, I don't like to call people out in public, that two different things from the same person. One was that you were trying to get Pat and Karen off the board, and another was that you were gonna make sure the board didn't do their past mistakes. It's intimidation. This camera is totally legal here. It should be in the back of the room. How many feet is this away from my face? That's totally
it's,
unacceptable.
it has never been.
Go down to the commissioners and put a camera 3 feet from one of them and see how they react.
It happens all the time. There was never one time that I was meant to intimidate you.
I told you, and Stu even said his wife works with domestic abused women and has written a book on it, so there you go.
That's why it hasn't been out public.
Then what is the purpose? My brother said, is he
So-
going home and playing with himself, watching you, or what's he doing? I
So,
said, I don't
so
know.
now you're accusing me of being a pervert.
No, I didn't.
That's what you just got done
My brother
saying.
said that to me. That was his conversation to me. I didn't direct that to you.
I've never said that I'm to get somebody off the board. I was actually going to give you kudos for the way that the board's actually been running, because I think that it's actually doing really well. But when you're going to accuse me of bullying,
You know what? I have a right to my feelings, and I told you my feelings about this more than one time, and justified I am, and my option is to resign.
If you're that concerned, I would advise you to not seek any public office.
Well, this wasn't supposed to be,
It's still public
I
office.
attended meetings here before running for the board and I never saw cameras, especially not right in front of somebody's face. So I assumed that would continue on and it didn't, so my choice is to leave.
Dave, if you don't recognize that some of the things you've done is bullying, you better take a long, hard look in the mirror. And do to yourself what you have done to other people on this department.
I've had
Take a long, hard look at it.
I've had it done to me, and you don't hear me saying anything and complaining about what people have done to
Do
me.
you like it when someone bullies you?
I don't consider it bullying.
You're a poison.
Yeah.
You were a toxic poison for 3 years. Adjourn this meeting. This is crazy.
I need a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, I second.
Second? Motion passed.
Who's supposed to be the president pro temp?
I don't know.
I don't know, motion
Can I
adjourned,
adjourn it?
meeting's adjourned, I'm no longer on the board, so figure it out.
Good. I'm gonna,
Right now,
you what?
so right now, we have no president, or president pro temp.
No, we don't have a president. So, Stu, would you like to adjourn this meeting?
I thought this meeting was adjourned, but we don't.
Was there,
It is
are we
adjourned,
still
why
in
not?
the meeting?
No, everybody's getting out of the meeting.
Is there any motion?
No? Well, I mean, by Julie, but she's not our president, so what would you like to do, Stu?
Well, she can't make a motion even as president, so, we need a motion, or I need from the president before she resigns, as to make the president pro temp. But I guess that's a moot issue now, isn't it?
No, she literally just adjourned it. She literally adjourned it, Stu. And I second it. She made it, yeah.
Yeah, well, she can't make a motion.
Okay, then how would you like to do this, Stu? Because I'm about ready to hang up and go home, buddy. I'm the only one standing here. Hi, it's this meeting.
I'm Sarah Wicker, I'm
I
supporting
still have Lisa. So,
Okay, I'll just reflect in the notes that she just ordered the meeting adjourned, you seconded, and the meeting was over. I'll just reflect that, that's fine.
okay, sorry, Stu. Everybody's gone.
No, that's okay. I
Okay,
appreciate it. And Casey, I'll be in contact with you.
okay.
Thanks.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.